Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to WSSR iRacingiFlag Cup Series action. Tonight is the night for us to figure out who will be conquering Season 4. After a year and a half, 525 days of hiatus from Season 3 to Season 4, we got done with 7 weeks of incredible racing. There's no playoffs. It was all about finding the consistency of a season. to figure out who can get up front. And tonight, we're going to be crowning a champion. It's either going to be that of the rookie, that of Vincent Sora, or the vet. And it will be here tonight for the Freaky Fast Broadcasting 240 at Charlotte. The drivers all set, all prepared, and we cannot wait to give you all the coverage here tonight on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. As the drivers are going around, gives us a quick moment to thank some of the sponsors. Starting off with iRacingiFlag. They are providing sim racers with the best iFlag virtual flag system, which gives you clear indications of the flag state on track. As well, can give you basic visual spotting information on who's your left, who's on your right, and it is so great to have them as our head sponsor for the WSSR Cup Series. We'll give you more information later on the broadcast, but go over to www.iracingiflag.com to check out what services they have, and then stick around. We'll give you a discount code on how to get yourself a discount with getting your iRacing iFlag. As well, big thanks to our Rookie of the Year sponsor, which is ButtKicker. And the way that he's been running, he's got an opportunity to go for a championship. Vincent Sora, he's proud to be getting that Rookie of the Year sponsor. ButtKicker will, again, one of the sponsors we'll talk about more later on. But feel what you've been missing. Thank you to ButtKicker, as well as thank you to European Wax Center and all the other sponsors we have here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting, as well as the WSSR iRacingiFlag Cup Series. Again, welcome to Freaky Fast Broadcasting. My name is Sam Dyer. With me doing double duty is going to be Robert Moyer Jr. with getting the drivers set as they have been. The question looming was, would we have enough? The situation here tonight, it's Vincent Sora coming in with 4 wins in total. He has been on it all season long. He's already won 50% of the races. He's trying to go for over 50%. Started the season off with winning the first 3 races at Auto Club, Las Vegas, and Richmond. Then went on a little bit of a dry spell, but was still getting some decent points. Had himself a rough day during that of the Indianapolis road course, but came back with some strong finishes here late. But then what helped him the most was finding himself into victory lane last week at Phoenix. Vincent Sora, with his 4 wins, comes in with a 36-point gap lead over our second driver, who is going to be that of Zach Hall, who we deem as the veteran. He's been here since season 1 of WSSR Cup Series action, and it's honestly one of the drivers that came into the season, has had so much help trying to get himself into position to run for championship. He got his first pole of his whole entire season for that of the first race at Auto Club, and since then he has been consistent at every single track. You look at the average finishes, Zach Hall has been one of the most consistent overall. The one thing that's been hurting Zach Hall, though, is a win. He hasn't gotten it all season long, and he's gonna have to do so here tonight. The only way that Zach Hall has an opportunity to beat out Vincent Sora is he's going to have to win the race. He has to get the most bonus points at the stage, winning the stage break at lap 40. He's got to lead a lap, lead the most laps, and the most important things here late. Vincent Sora cannot get any stage points, and as well, Vincent Sora has to finish in last place in 22nd position if Zach Hall wants to win the championship here tonight. But gotta say, it's gonna be a tall task. It's improbable, but not impossible for Zach Hall, but everyone knows the eyes are on the young gun. Vincent Sora came in as a rookie, 4 wins. He's looking good, and we cannot wait to give you all the coverage. Practice is done. It's also time to bring in our other commentator, Robert Moyer. As you see there, the 19 of Tyler Dangler getting wrecked around, but I gotta say, Robert, tonight it's gonna be a special night. It's good to be seeing WSSR iFlag, that of the iRacingiFlag Cup Series Season 4. It's come to a conclusion. It's been an incredible 8 weeks so far, but tonight we crown a champion.
That's right, Sam. Well, welcome everybody to the Freaky Fast Broadcasting 240. Like Sam said, we're proud to sponsor this race here tonight with these guys. But like you said, Sam, 8 weeks after tonight, 8 weeks, and man, has it went by so fast, and it's going to be very interesting on what we see here tonight at Charlotte. Everybody loves Charlotte. You know, it's one of these tracks that everybody knows how to get around, and pretty fast at it actually. So, but you brought up the scenario of what Zach Hall needs to do to win that championship. And yeah, it's not that he can't do it, but it's asking for a lot, man. So we'll have to see how this all plays out. I mean, if anything happens, one, you need Vincent Sora to just basically wreck on the first 10 laps and say, okay,
First
good.
lap.
The first lap, okay. Well,
Basically.
don't even make it across the line there, Vincent. Yeah, there you go.
Well, what also makes it even harder is this is going to be one of the longest races of the season. So you're asking for a lot. Even if Vincent Sora gets wrecked out, he could still get those damage repairs and get back out on track and still just need to pass one driver. It's asking a lot. Zach Hall needs practically the whole entire field to work with one another and hope that they can beat out the hottest driver of the season.
Yeah, the hottest driver of the season. And, we've seen him coming, as you said, a rookie. He's going to win this Rookie of the Year and a championship on top of it. I mean, like you said, all he has to do is start out and, start this race and complete one lap, and it's in the books. It's his. And Zach Hall, don't take nothing away from Zach Hall. He struggled. He struggled all week, all year, 8 weeks there, Sam. But he almost won, but he didn't win. It stinks finishing second, and that sounds harsh, because anybody out there would love to finish second, all the time. But when you're battling somebody like a Vincent Sora to get a win, just to keep up with him of what he was putting down this season, that second place just unfortunately wasn't enough.
Yeah, I mean, we say he had a rough season. If you look at the stats, again, best average finish at the end of the season does go to Zach Hall with a 3.29 is his average. Ridiculous. And then it's Vincent Sora right behind him with finishing with a 3.57. It's just a 0.2 margin.
Wow.
That's the difference between the two drivers on where they finish. The big issue is that Zach Hall's finished in the top 10 for every single race, while Vincent Sora has 4 wins on top of his just 6 finishes in the top 10. 5 of those finishes in the top 5. I mean, it has just been the fact that the bigger wins are going to that of Vincent Sora. And for Zach Hall, it's been second fiddle so many times this season. He's finished second for himself. I mean, he's getting tired of it, but it's been 3 times this season that he's finished in second place. He's finished in 4th 2 times. It's just been one of those things of, when am I going to get over that hump and finally get my first win?
Exactly. Well, he just posted out there on YouTube, said it's going to be a long night. But you know what? After a season like this and having a good strong and all the stats that you just gave there, you know what he can do here, Sam? Is go out and get the victory and prepare for season number 5 is what he can do, and say, okay, Sora, you might have got me in this season, but look out. I'm going to get ready for season number 5.
Yeah, in season 5, exciting news. It was just posted for the roster today, this morning, on the season 5 official schedule that's coming up. The first for this season for us, I mean, this year, we were excited to be seeing the fact that it was going to be season 4 coming back of the WSSR iRacingiFlag series coming back, but it was only an 8-week just consultation season of whoever's the most consistent in these 8 weeks, you'll win the championship. Season 5, we're bringing back the playoff system.
Yep, playoff system, a longer season too. So there's a lot in the works here, and sponsorships and sponsored races and new drivers coming in. And then you got your veterans, and then you're gonna have your senior drivers that have been here from since the beginning. So we're gonna have a whole bunch of different things going on in season 5, and I really can't wait for season 5 to start, because it's gonna be a crazy season. Now, I don't have the schedule right in front of me here tonight, Sam, but I know they're going to a track that is everybody's like, really? What's it called? What's the second week? It's the road course one.
Well, second week, we're going to be seeing these drivers. It's a quick season for themselves. We're going to Las Vegas, Indianapolis. Then we're going to be going to the Circuit of the Americas for the 3rd week.
Not that.
But one I think a lot of the drivers are curious about, Le Mans is going to be the race for these drivers. That's going to be dead center in the middle of the regular season. All the drivers were curious, how is that going to work? We're curious as well as how that's going to work. Also, some other racetracks that I'm curious about. These drivers are going to Southern National Motorsports Park at the short track, very short. It's going to be a quick one. Big
Yep.
contacting collisions, and that's coming to the end of the regular season, so drivers got to be on their toes. But hey, we're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves.
Yeah,
That's
aren't we?
season 5. That starts in July of, that's going to be July 16th, just a couple of weeks away. It's going to be a quick turnaround from season 4 to season 5. But first, we got to crown a champion for season 4. That means we got to get ourselves loaded in and ready to go. Taking the pole position, going to be that of Rich Jameson in the 86, as well as in second place, going to be that of Brian Johnson in the 28. Zach Hall, Vincent Sora, the 2 drivers battling for a championship, going to be in row number 2. And third and fourth place was Zach Hall beating out that 15 machine. Then right behind Zach Hall, going to be that of Cedric Hunter in the 13, with that of Brad Dell in 6th place. That of James Vining, going to be in 7th, with Carl Pooler in 8th. That of Art Greco going to be in that 9th place position, with Tyler Dangler going to be in 10th. Tom Sinchek in 11th. That going to be a Bryce Kobler going to be in 12th, with Christopher Norris in 13th. 14th is going to be that of Brandon Colley. James Kaufman going to be in 15th. Chuck Sweeting is going to be in 16th. That of Michael Yarrow in 17th. That of Bob Skinner in 18th. Trevor Earhart in 19th. 20th is going to be that of John Peel, with that of Alexander Light in 21st and 22nd position. It's going to be James Hackworth Jr. all the way back in the half of the field. Now, Robert, for these drivers, I think one thing, while I was writing my notes, I thought I had it all down, and then after reading all the scenarios that Zach Hall needs, I remembered one thing I forgot to write down, which is going to be the most important thing. Now, you got to stop Vincent Sora from getting a stage point. That's going to be our stage break at lap 40. But you as well have to figure out how to stop this 15 from getting a bonus point of leading a lap. If Vincent Sora leads one lap, if he just decides, no, I'm going to stay out a little bit longer on this pit stop, or even I might just skip out on coming into pit road for one accident, or even during the stage break, that one bonus point gives him the championship.
Oh, wow. Okay. Oh, we forgot about that note, didn't we?
Yeah, I was going through. I was like, wait a minute, that's not right.
Yeah, interesting. Now, what's going on here on the backstretch? The guys are fanning out a little bit. They like celebrating season number 4 or something.
There was almost a giant issue for Vincent Sora. That of Bryce Kobler had himself an issue. He had brake issues, was not able to hit his brakes. They were just not reacting and almost ran right into Vincent Sora on the backstretch. So a giant scare for the 15. Luckily was able to react, but we almost saw that one big issue that Zach Hall needed strike. Vinny survives. Well, let's see if he can survive 160 laps here tonight, because it's going to be a long one of the longest races of the season, and it's time to see who's going to win the Season 4 championship for the WSSR iRacing iFlag Cup Series. We're green here for the Freaky Fast 240, and it's going to be seeing that of Jameson, that of Johnson, side by side, and it's going to be our champions side by side for that of third place in that second row.
Second row, is going to see him coming out of the backstretch here side by side as Jamerson gets a little loose coming out of turn 4 there. Gets it down onto the apron there, and it looks like he's going to recover, but man, he's going to be losing a lot of positions there, Sam.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to be trying to hold on for that one moment. Again, that loose sensation, all these drivers are going to have to deal with that, but that's one quick pass for Vincent Sora, now up to second, qualified 4th. He's moved up 2 spots already, showing the strength for the 15. Again, all that Vinny has to do, lead a lap, and the championship is secured.
Lead a lap, and he's got Brian Johnson in front of him, kind of it's actually his teammate here in WSSR, isn't it? Yeah, that's his teammate. I wonder if Brian Johnson's going to let him. What's going on?
Second place, Vincent Sora checked up a ton on the entry of turn 3, clogging up the rest of the field, and that accordion effect almost went all the way through the middle of this pack. They are log jammed and not able to really find any spacing. It's side by side all the way through. Zach Hall going for the long run strategy. The 24 is backing off, and he's got to be careful. Zach Hall, for the scenario of him to win a championship, he has to lead at least the most laps possible, and he's now falling back for that long run, hoping he can get a little bit of extra speed moving forward. But speaking of moving forward, Brad Dell, he'll get by Vincent Sora. Sora seeing exactly what Zach Hall's doing and trying to imitate it.
Well, you're talking about Zach Hall falling back there on the long run. I mean, if he has to lead the most laps there, Sam, he can't be doing this. He's got to get going. he's got to get up there and start leading some laps. I mean, it was still early in the race, but the most laps that you want to lead is just get out front and do it. Now, the question is that you're seeing these guys, they're battling side by side here, as you see Carl Puller, Chuck no, Chuck Sweeney's not out there. Sorry, that's Christopher. They're battling side by side, but these cars look a little bit vicious loose here right now from what I'm seeing.
Yeah, they're trying to get that, seeing a little bit more heat built up in the tires. Those first couple of laps, always the toughest until they get up to that temperature where they have a little bit more grip to get off the exit of the corner and really get a little bit more racing for themselves. But it kind of makes sense for Zach Hall. He can't be patient here because he needs to win the stage. The biggest thing for Vincent Sora, all he has to do is just finish in the top 10 at the stage break, and he'll still get that one bonus point that he needs to secure himself. And it even helps that hearing from Bryce, that of Kobler, decided to sit in pit road to fix his issue with his pedals. Currently 2 laps down. That's a great thing to see if you're Vincent Sora, because that's 1 position and that's 1 point, and that means you're getting the championship.
Exactly. I mean, he can't finish anything less than them unless that number 9 machine can work his way back up through the field here, in the future here, not give up depending on, because you got the stage caution coming up if we do say, green flag racing here. But right now you see Zach Hall, he's starting to put the pressure on Vincent right now, and this is what he needs to do. He needs to pressure him as he's looking on the inside, going down backstretch here to go into turn 3 and 4 here, Sam.
Yeah, he's putting pressure on, but is it too soon? That's going to be the big question. I think for a lot of these drivers, they don't want to be falling 2 seconds back from Brian Johnson. So overwork your tires just to catch up to the 28. And there's the pass for that 7th place. Sora drops back to 8th. And Zach Hall recognizing, I've got to get going now. Again, Zach Hall needs a perfect race. He needs to win the stage, win the race, lead the most laps, and then make sure that Vincent Sora finishes in 22nd place. If Vincent Sora does not finish in 22nd place, he wins the championship. That's Christopher Norris giving a bump to Zach Hall.
Yeah, I was just right. You took the words right out of my mouth as, Christopher Norris got a little loose coming out of 4 there. Looks like, but right now, it looks like Vincent Sora is falling back. These guys are not letting up on him. And this is what Zach Hall loves to see. You need to keep watching that 15 car get at least outside the top 10 right now and make it to the stage outside the top 10, and then worry about leading the most laps and hopefully, everything works the way he needs to. But you got Brandon Colley right now here looking on the high side. Nope, he's going to fall right down. I think he's going to get in front of Vincent there, as we still, man, these guys are all over each other.
Yeah, and this is that double-sided sword for Vincent Sora, because he's dropping back, trying to save his tires for the long run and have that longer pace later on. But now he's placed himself right in the middle, in the eye of the storm, in the middle of this field, where you easily can get caught up into a wreck, and the drivers do not have a fast repair. You don't want to be out there, get involved with a wreck, break either your front or your rear suspension, because that's going to take a while for you to get those repairs done. Could put you multiple laps down, and you're hoping that no one else gets you messed up, especially this early on in the race, as it's side by side in front of Vincent Sora. Going to be seeing colleagues Tom Sinchek, Zach Hall, Christopher Norris pressuring Zach Hall again, really squeezing the 24. And for Zach Hall, he's got to be hating this, knowing that he's racing for a championship and being pressured so heavily by drivers that all their goal is get the best finish possible for themselves.
Well, yeah, that or, best finish, but also here you got Tom Simchek just push Christopher Norris right past Zach Hall. But, the thing is, too, is they'll go for the win. A lot of these drivers don't have nothing to lose, correct? I mean, why not? Go for the win. And right now, we don't want to jinx the kid, but Christopher Norris is up 6 positions, up to 7th position, and again, we're at Charlotte. This is a driver's track. This is a race track that drivers love, and you can just see it from the back burners to the front burners. They're all equal all the way through the whole track here, Sam. You can just see it, that there's a different mentality of racing going on here tonight.
Yeah, and you can just tell that there is a sense of urgency in the way that Zach Hall is running, and the drivers around him. Everyone's recognizing this is a great track to go for one of your best finishes. It's really a track about having that better track position than other drivers. And right now, Zach Hall over the radio feeling a little bit antsy and frustrated, especially with the way that he's been raced around by Tom Sinchek and Christopher Norris. He's hoping that it could get cleared up while Behind him, though, Vincent Sora, he's just been side by side with that of Colley and other drivers. Haven't really been pinched or aggressively been held back. Everyone's been giving each other plenty of space. So the 15, yes, he's mired in the center of the eye of the storm, but he's been feeling pretty comfortable. While for Zach Hall in that 24, and also for Christopher Norris, they continue to be right on top of one another. And that's going to be so much anxiety being given to the 24, recognizing we're only on lap 14 and you're racing me like this.
Yeah, we're at 14, but not only that, you got, up there what you're just talking about, but Vincent Sword back here, he's got a herd of vehicles right behind him here. He's got Carl Pooler right behind him. He's got the 72. He's got Trevor Earhart, which is nice to see him out here tonight. We do got Chuck Sweeney sweating on the track. It's good to see him out there, but, we got these guys all back here, and as we were watching Vincent Sword run past Christopher there, but it's good to see all these guys in the back here too. Some drivers we haven't seen in weeks actually.
Yeah, and for a lot of these drivers, they're still trying to learn, get themselves up there. As it's going to be John Peel as well is going to be seeing that at Chuck Sweeting, and also going to be seeing the lap car that in the 9 Bryce Kobler. And Kobler again had a brake issue, was not able to slow down with his brake, and I'm curious if he'll be caught up in a similar incident if there's a wreck in front of the 9. So we've got to be careful of these drivers further back in the field if we ever see a wreck and Kobler's near it, as drivers up front start to lose a little bit of ground, as drivers in our top 5 starting to make some good dashes. And one of those to watch out for, biggest mover so far on track, Tyler Dangler in 14th place. He's starting to catch up to further drivers as the middle of the field still side by side.
We got Tyler working on his way back here, and we got a pack of cars back here with Christopher Norris. Got Art. Oh, we got going 3 wide.
Oh, that of John Peel felt like I want to get aggressive. Got to be forcing in the middle. That of Greco, and that of Art Greco in the 72 as well. Going to be seeing that of the 7 of Trevor Earhart. Luckily, they survived. A little bit of seeing Earhart really gassing it up to make sure you get out of the corner. Stop them from staying 3 wide on the exit of turn 4. And also going to give an opportunity. Here comes Alexander Light, Chuck Sweeting. Curious on how that aggressive they want to be here as Alexander Light gets a good run following behind. Not feeling like he needs to make any moves, but driver that's making moves early, Christopher Norris, is now heading backwards, and he's about to be in the middle of this group that's been looking a little bit more aggressive. And this is kind of what we expect to see. Back half of the field, those final 8 out of 10 drivers always racing for everything. It means that they might wreck for every position and scrap and claw for just 1 point, even though they're racing for nothing back here.
Correct. And what we're seeing out of Christopher right now is that I do believe he burned up his tires. Because, we've been talking it weeks on end now, past 2 weeks, about tires, as we got side by side going on right behind him with Alex Light. We got, it looks like Michael, who is that? Yarrow. Yeah, is that Yarrow?
Yeah, Yarrow's going to be coming up in that 98. He's slowly chipping away on the inside. Watch out, that 72 of Greco as well as Light. They're getting close as well as seeing Chuck Sweeting on the outer groove. Also a great run, Bob Skinner. He's a part of this pack as well as having the 9 machine 1 lap down. That of Bryce Kobler going to be just lingering by, and it's good to see Bob Skinner. He's a part of this group. He might be at the back half of this pack, but he's still racing aggressive with this group and just waiting for one mistake so he can take those positions away.
I am just shocked right now. We actually see the card number on Bob Skinner's car.
He did get that fixed. He did do that. That is good to see. As
thank you,
driver
Bob.
actually having issues. Going to be the 33 of that of James Vining. Actually going to be getting into the out. I thought he got into the outside wall. He's been getting extremely loose out of turn 2. This is the 3rd time for the 33 machine, who qualified decent well up to 7th, but he has been falling backwards periodically because he's been losing ground, trying to stay off that outside wall. And once again, right in the middle groove. Hopefully he doesn't get loose again, but he is really bobbing and weaving, using up every part of this course, and that's just showing he is not comfortable in this 33.
Yeah, it doesn't look like he's too comfortable, as he's got Trevor right there behind him, getting ready to take him on the high side. Now, these tires, before I got lost there with another vehicle, are these tires basically the same too? You're looking around 5 to 10 of that? Oh, we have somebody into the wall. Who is that?
That's Tyler Dangler out of turn 4, gets into the outside wall, just too much dirty air, touches the apron, and overcorrects. He's going to have heavy right side damage. He's going to continue to try to ride on, but from that of sixth, well, he was in fifth, got passed by Zach Hall, then into the wall once Vincent Sora got by him, and now back to 16th is the 19 and losing even more positions for himself.
Yeah, well, damage don't look too bad from what I'm seeing right here. But okay, for the third time, I'm gonna ask: are the tires looking about 5 to 10 laps originally here at like we've seen in the past, like a couple races here, Sam? Or do you think these tires really? Wow, it's like that at every track at a mile and a half, basically, as Tyler just hit the wall again.
Yeah, it's practically almost every track now. What was before short track, so you can go maybe 15 laps, and then it will start to fall off. It's almost every track, 5 to 10 laps. It matters if you're being aggressive on those first couple laps, you're falling off. Like we're seeing Christopher Norris. I mean, he was up to almost 7th, 8th place, one of our biggest movers, and now he's fallen back to 18th and continues to go backwards. Same as being shown by Brad Delph, who moved up very quickly. Rich Jamison in the 86 in 5th place. He was up to 2nd. He's now starting to go in the wrong direction. A couple of other drivers, such as James Vining. There's a lot of different groups that are finding some struggle spots and are going in the wrong direction, while others, such as Cedric Hunter, Tom Sinchek, Zach Hall, that is Vincent Sora, and a couple of others, they were waiting patient. They waited until 15 to 20 laps, and then they said, all right, waited enough. Let's start heading in the right direction. While, got to give giant kudos to that of Brian Johnson. He built up this lead. The lead's been big enough. He's now trying to hold off and defend the drivers behind, and he's now running the same pace as some of the fastest drivers out there on track. I mean, Brian Johnson, this type of racing just fits in his wheelhouse and his driving style so much. I got to say, Season 5 is looking terrifying for the rest of the field if this is the type of form we're going to see from the 28.
Yeah, it took him a while. It took him a couple weeks. The start of the season here before iRacing brought out that last update, Sam, he was struggling with the car. He couldn't figure the car out too good, and he even admitted it. He wasn't understanding how this car wanted to be driven and drove, or however you want to say it, and eventually we had this little update, and instantly it just started clicking for him. He's picked up the speed. He's running out faster. He's getting race wins now, so you can see the confidence building into this number 28 vehicle. And like you said, Season 5, the drivers better figure something out, because you're going to have a guy that's going to be able to go after Vincent Sora for a championship and be teammates at the same time and work together. So it's a two-headed sword there.
Yeah, part of that Sidewinder Motorsports team is that of Vincent Sora, Brian Johnson. Also had Nick Crawford for a couple of races there, a part of that team. Crawford had to back out in the middle of the season, so it's just been a two-man team so far. I mean, outside of the WSSR, that of Vincent Sora, Brian Johnson, they're part of also the Freaky Fast team, which has, that Cedric Hunter, Zach Hall, Colley, and, also other drivers are officially part of that Category 5, being Tom Sinchek and a couple of others. So, the whole entire team, they've been some of the fastest drivers out there. They've been putting on a great show overall. But I got to say, Robert, watching this field, we're now coming up to 10 laps away from Zach Hall saying and kissing his hopes for a championship for this season goodbye, because Vincent Sora is staying right behind him. And Zach Hall needs to win this stage if he even wants an opportunity for the championship. And he's stuck in 4th, and he has now hit that plateau of he's not really able to advance in any positions just because these older tires make it so hard to make any passes this late into a run.
Well, we're going to find out within the, like you said, you're absolutely right there, Sam, but we're going to find out here in the next 9 laps. I mean, we're coming into the stage here on lap 40, and you still got Vincent Sora running in 5th position, Zach Hall running in 4th, and all Vincent Sora needs to do is finish in the top 10, in the stage. So, I mean, basically, in the next, 8 laps here, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna crown a champion.
Yeah, pretty much. It's just one of those things of it was very improbable to happen, wasn't impossible, but for Zach Hall, he needed to have a perfect race, and he needed the absolute worst for Vincent Sora, which is so hard when they both have been the most consistent drivers all season long. And now it's slowly coming to an end for the championship hopes, but then it turns into us watching this race as who's going to get the win. As then we would already know the champion. But as the lights are starting to click on slowly here, the sun's starting to set. This is going to be a fun race coming to the end of this thing. Still a lot of racing to go. I mean, when that stage break comes out, Robert, we're still going to have 120 laps still to go here tonight.
Yeah, 120 laps to go. And like you said, the lights are clicking on, sunset's going down. And, you know, now my question to you, Sam, is what is going to be the difference for these drivers from daytime, late afternoon to nighttime? How much will the track change to these drivers, and which drivers are going to like the difference from night to day?
I think if the race was a little bit hotter, I think there would have been a lot more of a drastic change for this racetrack. The race, the ambient temperature has only been about that of 68 degrees with only 2 miles per hour wind. So there hasn't really been a lot of cloud coverage for the drivers to worry about. And as well, the track temp only 74 degrees. So that might fall about a degree or two, but the track is cool. It's very nice for the drivers on how they're going to be attacking this. So overall, I think everyone's seeing this as this is going to be a very comfortable race. There's going to be plenty of grip, but it's going to take a little, maybe an extra half a lap to make sure these tires are warmed up once they get fresh tires again. But I got to say, as these laps tick away, coming up to just 5 laps to go in this stage, when we come across the line, the battle for second is looking a little spicy as Cedric Hunter, Tom Senchek, they're closing in, and as well, the 2 championship battlers, going to be Zach Hall, Vincent Sora, they're also coming in to see who can get the best finish here at the stage break.
You see Zach Hall and the Vincent, all these guys, you know, a couple laps here to go to the stage break, but these guys are beating and banging and running really hard here. And, you know, once we go into the nighttime, everybody, basically these cars will pick up speed. You know, cool track, more horsepower, you know, so, you know, these cars are going to start to go a little bit faster too, Sam.
It's a tad bit faster. They should be going about a tenth faster with the sun setting, so they're going to be feeling that extra pace. And with it being a little bit faster, also going to enable these drivers to make some bolder, moves, and also can make some bigger mistakes if they're not careful. That's always going to be the thing to watch out for, especially on the fact that we saw these drivers, some of them get extremely loose once they got fresh rubber, and like Charlotte normally turns into, it's either a wreck fest type of a night, or you get spread out where drivers are like this and they realize, you know what, let's just take our time. Let's see how long this race is going to go. And that's kind of what we like about the stage breaks, is it brings the cluster of drivers back together and makes things a little bit more dramatic, as we are now within that of 3 laps to go for this stage, as going to be Brian Johnson dominating, leading practically every single lap here tonight, with Cedric Hunter, that of Tom Senchek, Zach Hall, and Vincent Sora, your top 5, as Zach Hall trying to go up another spot. But every single movement he makes here, it's kind of hopeless for a championship. But now it's on to, well, can I at least get myself a win this season?
Well, that or just hit the brakes. You got your competitor behind you, right? I mean, just hit the brakes, you know, break up his front motor and, you know, your rear end, get it fixed, and you're good to go, right? I mean, sounds good.
Well, I mean, that is a decent strategy if the gap back to 10th wasn't, 4 seconds or so.
Right,
that certainly would be an interesting one.
Yeah.
As they're getting a little bit more racy. Tom Senchek over the radio, a little bit frustrated with how that pass was made, but the 8 still holds on as we're coming up to the white flag of the stage break. And Brian Johnson, he's in the spot. And for that is Zach Hall, he needs to be where the 28 is. He needs to win this stage, but what a season it's been for that Zach Hall. Again, best average finish all season long coming into this race. He had a giant lead to worry about, but for Brian Johnson, finding the right tick here with the new tire model and update. He got his win at that of Homestead 2 weeks ago. And here at Charlotte for the Freaky Fast 240 out of turn number 4. Stage break winner goes to the 28 of Brian Johnson across the line. As we wait for the rest of the top 10 to come across, it's going to be Chuck Sweeting who's going to finish out our top 10 drivers. But with that, it is going to be the Yellow Throne. Stage break is out here at Charlotte. And now official, Vincent Sora, with the amount of points that he has grabbed here at the stage break, he's officially become your Season 4 champion.
Season 4 champion is going to go to Vincent Sora. Rookie of the Year, Vincent Sora. And stage winner is going to be Brian Johnson. So, I mean, and the rest of this field, we'll get off of these guys for a little bit here after this stage break here. But they need to figure something out because he was 3.5, almost 4 seconds ahead of the field and still running faster lap times than second, third, fourth, and fifth position there, Sam. So whatever this 28's got figured out, he's got to figure it out.
Oh yeah, I mean it was spectacular to watch him just pull away. Everyone else was trying different ways and strategies. They thought they could catch up to Brian Johnson, didn't work out. As our top 10, we're gonna get the stage bonus points. It's gonna be Brian Johnson in first, Cedric Hunter in second, Zach Hall in third, Tom Sinchek fourth, Vincent Sora gets fifth place with that. Rich Jimson gonna be in sixth with Brandon Colley in seventh, Brad Delth eighth, Carl Pooler, great finish for himself at the stage break. In ninth and 10th, going to Chuck Sweeting for himself. As the drivers head into pit road, we're going to step aside. When we come back, we'll have ourselves, the drivers, set up and ready to go for the final 115 laps here at Charlotte.
Drivers, start your engines!
4, 3, 2, 1, green screen.
No rear grip whatsoever. Sideways. Sideways everywhere. Come on, man. Do what you can. The vibration in this car is the worst vibration that I've ever had, and the shifter's broken again.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the World Series of Sim Racing iRacingiFlag Cup Series action here at Charlotte for the last race of the season for Season 4. And with the bonus points grabbed by Vincent Sora, he has now become the Season 4 champion. Well, the first 40 laps for all of us talking about how these drivers were going to have to attack, battle between Zach Hall, Vincent Sora, who's going to win the championship. Well, we now know who won it, Vincent Sora. Now we turn our eyes to who's going to win the race here tonight, which means we don't have to stay focused on the 24 and the 15 as much, but there's still going to be a factor to watch out for here tonight. Thank you for joining us on Freaky Fast Broadcasting Saturday night coverage of the Gen 7 Cup Series, again for the WSSR iRacingiFlag Cup Series. This Season 4, Season 5 right around the corner, July 16th. That's when Season 5 will come back, where we go for the same shootout. We see who's going to go for the championship. But as the pace car is off, we're green out up front, and it's Cedric Hunter who takes off immediately, taking the lead as we head down into turn number 1. My name's Sam Zyer. With me is Robert Moyer. And Robert, Brian Johnson, he won the stage break and now deciding I'll just sit back here in third.
Hey, he falls back to third, but I think that has a lot to do with pit road.
Oh, the wreck behind.
Oh, we got a wreck.
It's going to be Christopher Norris and many others following suit. Greco, it's going to be Vining as well as the 9 of Kobler. 4 drivers heavily involved out of turn number 2. And some of these drivers kind of had a feeling they were going to get loose at some point, and it struck up front. Christopher Norris, and also going to be the first driver heavily involved with this one. Overcorrection by the 54, comes back up.
Ooh.
And yeah, it's one of those rules, that's not written in the rule book, but kind of the racing etiquette rules of if you're going to save it, you better save it, because if you overcorrect back in the field, you're going to have a lot of upset drivers. There's Kobler, comes in again, who's had brake issues for the 9, and he didn't need that type of a wreck to happen in front of him.
No, and we'll go back again and watch. We'll hop on with Kobler here, see if we can get down onto the road bar. Man, he really hit really hard here, Sam, as we watch it going out. But you can see what happened here in this replay. Christopher Norris hit the apron on the left rear tire, and it just shot him sideways. And you could just watch the mayhem just happen all in front of him. And look at Kobler. He's like, I don't know where to go, don't know where to go. And all of a sudden, somebody's there, and wham, head into the wall. Oh, that's a hard hit. That uplifted the car.
And with that hit, he's going to call it a night. 9 has already exited the session, and what started with frustration before the green even through, and ends with even more disappointment.
Yeah.
When we hope to see Bryce Kobler back next season. He was quick at some tracks and was someone who was a threat for top 5 finishes. Came in late in the season. We hope to see that 9 machine back for Season 5, because I think if he can get some of those mistakes and unluckiness and bad juju out of that machine, I think he's a very good opportune shot to make it in the playoffs. And you never know, you make it in the playoffs, there's always that chance, Robert, to go for a championship.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, hopefully he comes back. But, it's tough, Sam, when you unload your vehicle and you automatically go out there on your first lap and you have mechanical problems. And he was having brake problems from the time that he unloaded that vehicle here at Charlotte. And, the crew tried to fix it. He went back into the back and tried to calibrate the brakes and get them done. But, he just said out on YouTube, he still couldn't slow down, and he ran into it to get out of the way. So, that's just a rough starting out your race. You're excited, ready to go, and then you have brake problems, or if you have steering problems. There's stuff, this might be a PC game, but, there's stuff and parts that do break.
That they absolutely do, and things you can never really. You think everything's calibrated, it's set up properly, and then it can strike randomly. I've seen it happen many a times to many of drivers. It's a heartbreaking feeling, a helpless feeling, but again, we come back next season and we hope to at least get some of that bad juju and that luck to turn around, because the driver that's had the luck for majority of the season, Vincent Sora, he's gotten the championship, and it helps when you win 3 races in the beginning of this season to have a nice buffer. I think that's what a lot of drivers are now going to be thinking going into the next seasons, is how do we make sure we got enough points buffer to have a mistake race where we can come back and still be fine.
Yeah, well, next Season 5 too, ladies and gentlemen, which is going to make it really interesting. They didn't have it this season, but next season there's going to be a drop week. So if you do have one of them bad races, like tonight, for the 9, he can actually drop that out of his, drop it out and it won't hurt him as bad, you know. But you can't have 2 bad races, so it's basically a free gimme of a bad race because I mean you're going like you said, Sam. We're going to a road course next season that no one has ran these Cup cars on at all, so we don't even know what we're walking into.
And next season, going to be a blast to watch. We double the races. We add a playoffs. And the playoffs, only 5 races in total. So that is going to be seeing the drivers. They're going to be put to the test to find themselves next season. This season for Season 4, again, tonight is the last race of Season 4. Vincent Sora taking the championship with getting stage bonus points. But overall, a great season it's been. But I think some of these drivers, they kind of wish that there was a playoff so they could have a second shot to go after Vincent Sora, and that's what they're going to get next season. And you know, with some of the wrecks that we've seen so far, maybe some of these incidents that come out, sometimes you need a little bit of help, and you might need your button box to help you with that. That's why you go over to the admin box. The goal of the admin box is built for iRacers, for iRacers, in league and hosted races, and the goal to make the race control as easy as possible. So thank you to Admin Box for being the newest sponsor here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting, and use our discount code FFB, that of dash BOXX. That's box with 2 X's. And thank you for being there for us. It's going to be giving you a discount code for that of the Admin Box. It's going to be giving you any types of ways to make it easier for your hosted sessions. I know race control they always love to have button boxes to help them. That is one of the best tools, especially for league races. And I think if anyone wants to start getting into hosted or racing in league races, you want to be a controller, got to get yourself an admin boxes. Robert, we're getting ready to go green once again.
That's right. We're getting ready to go green here on lap 50 of 160 here. They're going to get side by side. They're going to go through here turn 3 and 4 at Charlotte Motor Speedway. The Freaky Fast 240 is about ready to go back green here, ladies and gentlemen, from WSSR. So here we go.
Drivers lined up, ready to get rolling. It's going to be Zach Hall, Cedric Hunter, your front 2, and Cedric Hunter on the outside. Already taking off. Great launch by the 13 again. He's figured out these starts so far, but how aggressive do you truly want to be? Because we only got to see that of Zach Hall, that of Cedric Hunter, get aggressive in those first lap on the first corner, and then that wreck happened coming out of the backstretch, hoping that it doesn't strike again. But Brian Johnson says, you know what? I gave you these 2 positions. I'll take them right back. That 28 right side by side with Zach Hall.
Right beside him, and he's just looking extremely fast right now. And, you know, he fell back there to the 3rd, 4th position due to his pit stop there, Sam. So that's where he fell back and lost all his positions. But he has a fast enough Camaro there. I do believe he's going to be able to take over the lead here as we got Zach Hall now going for the lead that would have helped him in the beginning to make it a little bit more exciting, even though Vincent Sora's right behind him.
Yeah, I mean, the big thing for Zach Hall, he was needing a perfect race here tonight to lead a lap, lead the most laps, win the stage break, and win the race, on top of needing Vincent Sora to finish in last place, where not able to do so. None of Vincent Sora got 5th place in the stage break, got the bonus points that was needed and necessary, and now going to go for a championship. Oh boy, contact though, as seen that of Skinner getting right into Carl Puller's back bumper. That's a little aggressive by Skinner, but hey, sometimes you got to make those types of moves if you want to get someone rattled up.
Yeah, well, he rattled him up, but not only that, did you see how far he pushed Carl Puller up there now, Sam? I mean, he literally shot him up like 6 miles per hour faster, and you could just see how far that pushed Carl out now.
And that's the one thing that's so interesting with these cars is if you hit him on the left or right quarter panel, just the right spot, you're spinning these cars around in an instant. But if you hit a driver square as hard as you can, the driver in front of you actually can take that hit pretty well, and it doesn't usually throw them off on the entry of the corners, which is so surprising. These cars, at some point, if you hit them on their wheel well, right on the wheel into the corner or into one another, it's the most fragile contact. It can be the smallest little bump, and these cars feel like they're done for the rest of the day. But if you hit them square on the body, you can take a lot of a beating, and these cars look like they're tanks at times. And for Skinner, after that, getting that bump, makes the pass on Puller, the 82, now cracking the top 10.
Tracking in the top 10 as we're watching Brad Delk now up here right beside you. He's got Brandon Colley. He's got Chuck Sweeting right beside. Got Vincent Sora right behind him, and they're all side by side battling up here for 6th, 7th, and 8th, 9th, 10th position.
It's got to be careful, especially for Bob Skinner. He's being very aggressive here, trying to make these passes going forward, but this is kind of the same trap that we saw Christopher Norris, Brad Delf, and many of other drivers where they got so aggressive in the early portions of what we saw during stage 1 that then the tire wear issues started to click in around 20 laps into a run. Watch out here in the next about 7 to 10 laps. Might be seeing this 82 as well as the 14 and a couple of other drivers going backwards because they've overcooked and overused their tires.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I mean, we'll have to see what these guys can do here. You know, like you said, maybe they want to back off a little bit, you know, slow it down a tenth or two, you know, to try to save them tires without, you know, burning them up because, you know, we've seen that in the first stint here, and we got to go a full fuel run now here, which is pretty long with these cars because they got a bigger gas tank.
Yeah, these drivers can go quite a long time. I'm expecting them to try to push this fuel all the way up to that of lap 100 to 110 is going to be the window for drivers to make their pit stop. So there's going to be a good extension. They're going to be going anywhere from 50 to that 60 laps on this fuel. The drivers feeling very confident that they can really go and make this race just a one stop from here on out. But that's if we don't get any yellows. If we stay green, that's going to be what we look out for. As gotta say, for Bob Skinner, he might be getting aggressive, but he's done a great job. He's now going to be moving up to that of 6th place, getting by our Season 4 champ.
Yeah, he's getting by Vincent Sora there. You know, a little bit about Bob Skinner. You know, I haven't seen him race in a long time, Sam. And it's good to see him back here for Season 4 and hopefully Season 5 too, which I imagine he will come back. But he is he's one of them Steven Stempian guys. I know Steven Stempian is not out here tonight, but Bob knows how to run super speedway races. It's like he can see the air and, you know, use the draft the way he needs to use it. And you can see it here. Yeah, this might not be a super speedway, you know, track, but, you know, the draft is key here.
Yeah, the draft really is. And the big thing for the draft is it is your enemy at times, especially through the corners. So if you can get a sense on, all right, this is where the draft is when I'm taking these corners, place yourself where that isn't. Go find that clean air and get yourself in a better spot to really make these corners so you're not using up your tires as much. And for Bob Skinner, he certainly is looking good. But oh my goodness, looking on the outside, Chuck Sweeting, what a run by that 75 on the outside.
And look at Vincent Sora. He's falling back, too. What's going on with Vincent? Is he actually maybe I guess he's still saving his tires.
I think that's the big thing is you've got the drivers that are willing to save their tires for a longer run. They're waiting another about, I would imagine, 3 to 5 more laps before they start to go forward. But the drivers that are getting a little bit impatient, they're tired of lingering back and they feel like, okay, I'm going to lose any positions if I continue to stay out here. I'm going to run an outside lane, utilize that speed because everyone that's on the inside, they're getting a little bit accordion effect where the first driver, if they've got to slow up a little bit, it jams up everyone on the inside. So if you run on the outer lane, you're really going to get a better launch because you don't have anyone slowing you up.
Well, it was slowing up. Speaking of that, are these guys going around here, Sam, you know, running 5th gear, or are they running 4th gear through this? What gear are they running?
A lot of these drivers are running that 5th gear just because of how much faster you are in the draft. I know during qualifying there was talks of running that 4th gear at times, just try to keep it a little bit more ramped up. But because you're in the draft, that 5th gear a lot more prevalent to be using. Because you're running a little bit faster, drivers might think about dropping it into 4th potentially. But you want to run that higher gear. That way you're saving a little bit more fuel on the longer run, especially for some of these drivers that might be thinking about extending it as long as possible.
Yep. Okay. Well, we'll see how these guys do. So I'm sure some are still running 4th, and all of them run 5th. You know, it all depends how they want to attack this here tonight. But right now, we're watching Brad Delft here running in 4th position. He's up 2 positions. He's got Tom Sinchek, Cedric Hunter right in front of him. He's got Brian Johnson now is still, you know, last time we seen this, he pulled out to about 3.5, 4 second lead here, Sam. And right now, these guys are keeping up with Brian Johnson, so they either changed it or, as everybody noticed, that sunset's going down. We are going into the transition of nighttime here.
Well, I'm also curious on Brian Johnson because it just seems like the rest of the field, they'll be aggressive in the first 2 to 3 laps just to try to beat out Brian Johnson, leave weights, he's a little bit more patient. And then once you get longer into a run, Brian Johnson doesn't seem like he's saving his tires. He is constantly being aggressive, and then he'll stay for a lap or 2, and then he'll be aggressive again while everyone else is thinking, oh, I'll be patient for 5 to 10 laps. While Brian Johnson is going with really quick stints, which allows him to really not have to worry about saving his tires, running slower laps. He's going fast, slow for a lap or 2, and then he's fast for another 2. He's really going with that back and forth motion while everyone else is saying, I'll be slow for 10 laps, so I'm quick for 5. Slow for 10 laps, quick for 5, which is giving them a much slower average duration for their 40-lap average.
That is very interesting the way you explain that. I've never seen a driver go fast, slow, fast, slow. Wouldn't you think that would spike the tires and make the tires more worse than better?
Well, you would think that, but that's the thing about the new tire model is a lot of the drivers are still trying to find that equal spot where they're maximizing their tires to the fullest potential. And for Brian Johnson, I think he might have found a little bit of extra speed there during that first stage. I think also other drivers might have been realizing I was being too patient with my tires. I need to be a little bit more aggressive if I want to keep up with Brian Johnson. That's why we're seeing Tom Sidchek and Cedric Hunter still keeping it within a half a second of our leader compared to how they were being extremely slow and patient, where they lost over a second, lost that draft to Brian Johnson, and Johnson was able to play his own game there for the whole entire first stage. So I think that's why we're starting to see a little bit of Brian Johnson. Found some speed. I think Tom Sidchek, Cedric Hunter, and the rest of the field, they've realized we can't be as patient. We've got to be a little bit more aggressive on these tires if we want to keep up with that 28.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it's looking like. I'm just trying to wrap it around my head. I don't know if I could do that out in the track. Fast, slow. That I don't know if I could do that. Like, that's just a lot of self-control.
I mean, that's the big thing. I think that helps Brian Johnson be the most winning driver of this series. I mean, it's finding those little techniques. And also, you just look at the driving style. Brian Johnson, a lot more on the smoother style of things, which was kind of interesting to talking about. You know, we think back to Homestead 2 weeks ago when it was Brian Johnson and Zach Hall talking about their races and their post-race interviews. And Brian Johnson just felt like he loved the fact that the car was so stable. Well, that is Zach Hall was talking about how he loves how the cars, when they're looser, a lot more aggressive with the tires, and just be aggressive overall, which kind of fits both their driving styles. Right. Brian Johnson much more on the smoother side, Zach Hall on the more aggressive side, keeping that car on the edge. And you know, I think with the way that these tires are, it's much more on the driver that's smooth, consistent, and the drivers that want to be aggressive and put the car on its edge, they're overusing those tires, and really it hurts them on the longer run. And that's why we're starting to see Brian Johnson, he's starting to gap out again over the rest of the field.
Starting to gap out, and you can also see now Bob Skinner here. He's starting to fall back as we got Zach Hall. Vincent Sora is going to look around him on the low side here, coming out turn 3 and 4. Bob's on the high side, and you can see that car probably got a little pushy for him as these tires are wearing off, as Zach Hall's going to fly down into turn number 1 and 2. He's going to look at Brandon Colley, go right around Brandon Colley, and look at Brad Delp. He's going to try to take that position too, but he falls right back in line, and he's going to line him up for maybe turn 3 and 4.
The driver I'm most curious about is the driver in 4th place, Chuck Sweeting. He's done a great job of just going by all these drivers. He kind of was doing a similar strategy of Bob Skinner. He just waited an extra 3 to 5 more laps until Bob Skinner a lot sooner on being aggressive on his tires. That Chuck Sweeting was being very patient until he felt like it was time to go. Brad Delp kind of in the same range as Bob Skinner. That's why I think we're seeing the 14 and the 82 both falling back at the same rate. They just have overused those tires, and now they're starting to go backwards as we are closing in on halfway of this race. This is when the strategy starts to kick in. When do you think about coming into pit road? I'm thinking around lap 100. Some drivers might think about lap 110 to 1.5. That's if they've been able to save enough fuel to make it. And also the question of will their tires be big enough to make it at that point, as Brad Delp, Vincent Sora continue to race on for that 6th place position.
Racing on, you got Brandon Colley right behind him here too. You still got Bob Skinner, and then it looks like you do got Tyler. Tyler had, that little incident, a couple times hit the wall there, but he's looking pretty good yet. He's still sticking out inside the top 10 here, Sam. So Tyler's looking pretty stout right now, as we got Vincent Sora, and then we got Brandon Coley. Oh, looks like Brad Delph got really tight coming out of 4.
He got extremely tight, almost got in that outside wall, and with that him being spooked, he had a really, I think he might have tapped the brakes, which then closed in the 7 and the 8 on the exit of the corner. Luckily, no contact was made, but certainly a scare there. I want to talk about the 19 that of Tyler Dingler just for a quick moment, because we saw the multiple contacts he had into that outside wall, and I talked about how if you can hit the side of the car and kind of do what we call a pancake in that outside wall, where you're parallel with the outside wall, he did not get that much damage, even with the multiple contacts that he did. Only had about 12 seconds of optional damage that he really needed. And visually, you really can't tell that he hit the wall.
No.
It's incredible to see at least the side of the car. As long as you don't hit the actual wheel itself, you're good to be making some contact, and these cars will still continue to race on at almost full power.
Well, that's it. That's the new damage model that we have now in these cars. Like you said, if you hit the left front, the right front, and you hit right around that wheel it breaks the complete wheel. It breaks the front end off. It gets all floppy and breaking pieces flying off, fender wheel and everything else. But like you said, if you're gonna wreck and hit the wall, try to pancake the wall, which will cause less damage with these cars, because these cars are pretty fast. Oh, I've got Alex Light back there almost into the wall, and Carl Pooler made an evasive move there without running him over.
Yeah, and those drivers are quite aggressive, but further behind, that's actually going to be that of Alex Light and that of Rich Jameson, who are going to be on top of one another for 12th place. And 2 drivers have had, for at least that of Rich Jameson, we saw on lap number 1, he got the pole award, but got loose immediately out of turn 2, and now he's been falling back, says up into the outside wall further ahead of these drivers. Talked about seeing that Tyler Dingler get in the outside wall. This go around, it was Bob Skinner in the 82.
Yeah, and you could see there probably about 5-6 laps. His car was getting tight, and you get behind this dirty air, which is a thing with these cars. He unfortunately just went up into the wall. Now the question is he didn't hit it really hard on that right front. He more or less pancaked it, because trust me, if he hit it on the right front, like Sam said, that his car would be done.
Yeah, you'll see the wheel actually
Yeah.
be broken and scraping onto the ground. So drivers are hoping to not get that type of a damage for themselves as they continue to race on. Here's Trevor Earhart, one of our biggest movers of the day, up 9 positions for himself, qualified back in 19th place, up to 9th. And for the 7 machine, one of our highest movers of the night, from that of drivers that did not qualify here tonight. Chuck Sweeting is the highest mover, up 12 positions, as he's battling for that 4th place spot with Zach Hall. But gotta say, some of these drivers that didn't put a qualifying time down, gotta be thinking, what if they did? How much further up ahead they would be?
Yeah, it might even be up there running for 2nd, 3rd, 4th, top 5, maybe. That's it. I don't understand. I always question, why don't you qualify? I don't understand why people don't go out and qualify, Sam. You would imagine you would want to try to get the best pit stop, right? I mean, you want to get the best pit box. You don't want to go way in the back. And now, I understand it at a super speedway where you don't want to get into carnage, and why some people start on pit road. But I've always said, go out there and make a qualifying lap. And if you want to start in the back, then drive around the track really slow and make that qualifying lap to start in the back. But at least put something down.
Yeah, that's going to be the big thing. We want to see drivers put a qualifying lap down, like you said, or a better pit box is the big thing. Some drivers actually prefer to have one of the last pit boxes, just so it's visually they know exactly where their box is. Some drivers, they prefer to have the furthest one, have the best positioning. If you're going to get that pole award, you get that last box, better and cleaner launch out of pit road. But it's different mind games. Different drivers like different styles, and
Yeah.
Just like how drivers like different tracks, sometimes they like different boxes to be pitting into. And
Well,
see here, Sweeting up front with that of seeing Zach Hall and Vince Sor getting by. But yeah, what were you going to say there, Robert?
Well, note on that pit box stuff, some of these drivers, and if they pay attention to it, you got entrance that cars go to the behind pit road, behind the boxes. So if you get that one pit stop and okay, I need to qualify in 9th position, I don't have to worry about a car in front of me. So when I come into the pit box, I got a clean shot straight out of my pit box, not worrying about a car in front of me pitting. So, I mean, some drivers know that stuff too, Sam, which comes in a big deal sometimes.
It really does.
Yeah.
And, I mean, a lot of the drivers, they have to pick and choose where they feel the most comfortable. But at the same time, if you're not going to decide to go out there on track and put a time down, the thing that is going to place you in the furthest ahead is based on your iRating. That is actually what places you with the furthest positioning for yourself, as we're starting to see a little bit of blinking from the 75 of Chuck Sweden. We hope to see that cleared up, but Chuck Sweden has had internet issues previously in his racing career, and we hope that can get cleaned up, but it's getting pretty bad for the 75, and if it gets any worse, he could get removed from the session by iRacing because he does not have a solid enough internet. You'd hate to see that from a driver that's been our biggest mover of the day, but if we move back, there's some great racing going back for drivers around 11th position. Bob Skinner, as well as that of Rich Jamison, Alexander Light, as well as Michael Yarrow and Carl Pooler, all on top of one another in this pack. If we're going to see a yellow at any point of this race, this might be the position where we can see it.
Yeah, this would be the position, because right now you got the top 10 up there running single file, pretty spread out. They're not on top of each other. And this race, you know, you said earlier, Sam, you know, it's either going to be a caution fest race or it's going to be a green flag race. Well, these guys are putting down the green flag right now because, you know, we haven't seen one yellow. Well, we've seen one yellow for stage and one yellow for an incident on the backstretch. Other than that, these guys been pretty clean, racing each other pretty hard back here. And you can see right now you got Alex Light back here racing with Yarrow, and you got Carl Pooler back here, and they're all over each other for, you know, you said 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th position.
Yeah, and this is great to see for these drivers, all trying to go for some of their best finishes of the season. Some have gotten some top 10s here or there, but overall, you're looking for that consistency to be up front. This group of drivers have been racing around one another all season long. There's a little bit of rivalry mingled in between these groups, but they certainly are just trying to get the best finishes possible. But you talked about, you know, trying to find what flag you're going to be having, as Alexander Light really putting himself in the middle there, and kind of an aggressive move that spooked that of Yarrow, who had to back off just for a quick second. But, you know, trying to see if what, you know, flag state it is on track. Well, I know one system that gives you that ability to know that information, and also might want to know how much fuel you got left in your car, and that's iRacing iFlag. iRacing iFlag, we talked about their iFlag virtual flag system. They've also got themselves a digital pit board, as that will give you information of track weather as well as weather conditions. Gonna give you also your laps remaining of fuel, and as well your last 5 laps of fuel usage average. Plenty of great information and a great little box that can give you so much content. Yeah, and those are 2 separate boxes. The iRacing iFlag box that it gives you what conditions they're on are on the flag state of the track, as well as their digital pit board. Go get all of the essentials that you need from iRacing iFlag. Go to www.iracingiflag.com. Use our discount code FreakyFast2022. Thank you so much to iRacing iFlag for being the head sponsor of the WSSR Cup Series, as well as being a part of Freaky Fast Broadcasting. Other great sponsors, talked about it, the Rookie of the Year sponsor, ButtKicker. They are your one place to go. Instead of just hearing the sounds, I think everyone can hear when they're squeaking sounds. You hear the roaring of the engines on track. Well, why not get a little bit more in depth with feeling the sounds? Get yourself a game or two from ButtKicker. It just attaches to your racing rig or to anything. It doesn't matter if you're watching a movie, TV show, other video games. It's a place attached to your rig. Plug in, go, and it syncs up with the sounds. That at ButtKicker. Feel what you've been missing. Use our promo code FreakyFast20 for 20% off. Great content all around, and gotta say, we talked about the admin box. We talked about getting yourself the iRacing iFlag, all the attachments they have there. Also have talked about that at ButtKicker. Well, talked about a racing rig. Well, you're gonna need one, and that's where you go to Advanced Sim Racing. Advanced Sim Racing is one of the fastest growing North America services for sim racing. They've got their own chassis, they've got monitor stands, steering wheels. It's practically the eBay of places to go if you want to get yourself content and to get yourself set up for anything sim racing. Use our promo code FreakyFast5 for 5% off as some drivers thinking about pit stops for themselves. That was actually the 72 of Art Greco who's going to come into pit road. And for that of Art Greco, interesting thing about the 72 here, Robert, who comes into pit road, this is going to be one of his best finishes of the year. Both of the finishes he's had so far were 23, and wreck going to happen in the middle of the field. Trevor Earhart, front stretch.
Oh, no. That liquid death machine looks a little banged up, and we'll have to see what happened here with him. As you can see what we were talking about there, ladies and gentlemen, you can see his wheels all busted.
Not pointing in the right direction, not set right. He's going to struggle to get to pit road as here's our replay of what happened as he's getting his burnout, trying to get straightened up here. But Trevor Earhart trying to get the best run he can, going up against the 19 of that Tyler Dangler. And for Trevor, and the liquid death machine just gets loose out of the corner, overcorrects, and watch out for that 86 because that's one of the more hold on tight type of a moment. Barely skating by, and for that of the 7, hard contact into that outside wall.
And you can tell it's a very hard contact because it actually lifted both tires off the back there, Sam. So that's an extreme hit for him. And somebody clipped him too. Who clipped him?
Going back to see, there was a couple of drivers that were flying on by.
Somebody, yeah, I don't know who it was, but somebody went and clipped them when I seen the sparks fly. So somebody else got a little bit of damage out of that.
I believe that's going to be Alexander Light, as well as that of John Peel, that were side by side with one another. Light's going to get the scrape. 70 got sent into the grass after that incident. As we're back here racing, everyone's racing to get to pit road. That's where they are right now, trying to get service done and seeing who can be the fastest driver in their box. I see a couple getting their services done, getting themselves situated, and getting those 4 tires in fuel. And this is going to be interesting because I believe this is going to be just around the window where they can make it on fuel. It's going to be 65 laps. That's a long way to go for these drivers, but they might be able to make it work for themselves as drivers getting ready to get going.
We pull up our champion and ask him.
Well, we could pull him up, yeah. Let's go with our champion, Vincent Sora, as we're getting the 15 situated and ready to pull him up in the booth. Vincent Sora, it's Sam up in the booth.
Hello, I got a copy.
Well, Vinny, congratulations on getting your stage points back at that lap 40. And with that, we can officially say you are the champion. And I just wanted to say congratulations on that front as we're past the halfway marker here tonight. Still a lot of racing to go, but how are you feeling in this car here tonight?
I feel pretty good. I don't think I'm a winning car. We'll see. Now that I'm going to have a little bit of clean air on this restart, hopefully I can get around Cedric. The dirty air is just so bad. I've been really patient with a lot of guys tonight, and I've lost a bunch of track position on the restart, and I think I just need to be a little bit more aggressive. I'm kind of just, I don't really need to, so I'm just trying to bring it home and go do some burnouts on the front stretch.
Now, Vinny, we're questioning up here, how confident are you feeling on fuel-wise from this pit stop that you can make it to the end?
I don't know, actually. I'm showing about 67 estimated laps left, which will drop after the restart, so it's going to be really close on whether or not we can make it here.
Well, thanks for that information. And Vinny, I know we're about to go green, so we're going to get you back up into your team. But again, congratulations on the championship for Season 4, and good luck for the rest of the race.
Thank you, guys.
As I was curious about that, Robert, and I got to say, from the Season 4 champ, he's now going to be curious about it as well. I don't think that was something he was thinking about until I brought it up to him.
Right? I mean, because, right now they're pacing under and, using the clutch, slowing the, shutting the motor down, saving all the fuel they can. These guys might be a lap or two short, Sam, depending on how hard you run the car. So now comes the question is how many people did pay attention to that and decide, you know what, I'm going to take it easy and save a lap or two of fuel, to make it to the end.
Well, now it's also going to be the question of how do you save your tires and fuel? Because if you're going to be trying to save a couple laps, that means your pace has got to be a little bit off from our leaders. and you're going to be in a tricky spot ready to get going here as driver is about to get the 1 to go indication here from the pace car when the lights go off. But this now puts me in the realm of watch out for Brandon Colley. That's also going to be for Bob Skinner and some of these drivers in the middle of the field. If they have figured out how to save their tires a little bit better on this stint, they might be able to save fuel as well coming here to the end.
Yeah, well, you know, what I would have done if I was the back markers? I mean, we got 1 to go. I would have jumped back down there, don't take tires, and take more fuel. That would have made you get, that lap or 2 or 3, as long as we don't get that dreadful green, white checkered, they should be okay. Because that's another scenario yet.
Yeah, and I'm curious, though, for the back markers. I mean, we talked to Vinny, and I'm thinking if he wasn't thinking about it, I'd imagine no one else was thinking about even fuel.
Oh, man, guys.
So I don't think anyone else was in that mindset of let's come in and top off because no one else came in. And now it's all on saving. Have these drivers saved enough fuel to try to stretch it to the end? Because when they came into pit road, it was that of 65 laps. When they get rolling, it's going to be about 2 to 3 laps shy unless they start saving.
Yeah, this is going to get interesting, ladies and gentlemen. So make sure you stay tuned here because we still got about, 60 laps here to go, like you said. So, we'll know right away here as we'll see some of these drivers at the pace that they did have. If they fall off, things like that, we'll find out. Oh, no, we have Chuck.
Well, throw it all out the window. Chuck Sweeting spills and spins it all out. And with that, these pace laps, I think this now takes that a question. They should be good.
They should be good now, but the question is did Chuck start in the wrong gear?
He was in that first gear starting, and usually want to be in that second. First gear is very risky, and just on this replay, watch those tires as he lights them up. He shifts into second, and when he shifts into second, that's when everything goes wrong.
Yep, you can see it just upset it. Oh, poor Brad Delph. Nowhere to go. Having a great run, and unfortunately, he's going to have front-end damage, and I don't even know how much front-end damage he's going to have, but that's very rare that you see Chuck do something like that. He might have forgot what gear he was in, actually. He might have been the one that was trying to save fuel, you know what I mean, Sam, and then realized, oh, crap, I was in the wrong gear.
Well, if you're going to be saving fuel, I'd imagine you'd want to be in that higher gear for yourself.
Right, but he could have, been higher and then downshifted one too many times.
True, that could be a factor as drivers right now in a weird stall-out stage because they're trying to figure out where is the pace car.
Well, man, they scared me. I was like, did my game just go slow-mo?
No, they're playing where's the pace car as here it comes out of turn number 4 and drivers starting to get rolling again as the pace car goes on by. So what they like to do, the goal for this is to also come to a stall because the pace car then will go on by. They're going to save a little bit of fuel by just waiting.
Yeah.
And then they get rolling again as Cedric Hunter says, you know what, that grass needs to get mowed just a little bit more.
Yeah, we're going to take care of that grass, turf, whatever you want to. It's turf now, I do believe, at Charlotte, ain't it?
I believe it is.
Yeah. So I just rip up the turf a little bit,
Just get a little bit of that rubber marbles out of the way.
Yeah, why not? So, well, how's everybody doing out there tonight in YouTube land? Hopefully you're enjoying tonight's content here with Sam Dyer and Robert A. Moyer here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting, the final race of season number 4 with WSSR iRacingiFlag Cup Series. Man, if you guys enjoyed the content, don't forget to share it, like it, follow us, subscribe to us, because we got a lot more action coming up here in the next couple weeks here. We are going to be full-born 6 nights straight, Sam, except for Friday nights. Man, there's going to be a lot of racing content coming.
Oh, well, we first got to get through our break. We're going to have a couple of, we're going to have like a week or two of having a break because this weekend, the start of a 2 series that we're going to have our final race of the series.
Yep.
Tonight, starting it off with WSSR iRacingiFlag Cup Series action. These drivers are coming to the end of season 4. Vincenzola has won the championship. And then on Monday night, we're going to have to figure out the championship for that of the NAISCC Race Car Graveyard Truck Series. They're going to be at Homestead. That is going to be a barn burner to watch. Do not want to miss on that, but that's going to be giving us a 2-day of breaks before we get to the end of July. Like I said,
Yeah.
end of July is when we are going to be back at it, ramping it up 6 days a week here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting.
For our fans out there, I know Vincent Sora's not going to be there Monday night, but just for the fans out there, I've seen, and I'm assuming this is true, but we have Mark Whitley coming back into the Truck Series for Season 3.
I don't know officially if he's coming back. I know there
That's
were
what
talks and rumors
That's
about
what I
it.
hear. That's a rumor of Freaky Fast. Hashtag it on Twitter.
Rumors are coming. Freaky Fast rumors. Oh, man. If we're actually seeing Mark Whitley come back, that is trying to get redemption after missing out on his championship because Vincent Sora took it away from him. That rivalry was so great to watch for Mark Whitley and Vincent Sora, the wrecking, the battling. It felt like each and every week it was someone getting payback for the week prior. And man, if somehow Vincent Sora comes back, I think that would make things a lot more interesting. But I know there's a lot of other rookies that are coming in that are looking extremely fast.
I hear.
And also, I think just the drivers currently, the rookie class that came in for Season 2, I think they also want to see how they fray and compare to Mark Whitley, who came up second and was a part of the Final Four for Season 1 of that Truck Series. Monday night, it is going to be a good one as well. Lots of great racing throughout the week here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting. And even this week, we've got ourselves more racing action. It's going to be seeing that of the 802 Series going to be having another race this week. That's going to be, I believe they're going to be at Michigan. And Michigan's going to be a fun one to watch for themselves. And then going to have Tuesday off. And then drivers are set and ready for the rest of the week.
Yeah, and then we're gonna have some action packed with Stars and Stripes, what we seen last Thursday at their Daytona race. So if you out there watching now, get bored, want to watch something, go back and watch that race and watch the number 7 car go from the high line to the low line to the high line, and I swear he was bipolar that race.
I have never. I think that was the loudest I've ever yelled, and that's why my voice is still kind of shot today. Is because how loud I was yelling on Thursday. That race was spectacular.
Crazy.
It was an amazing race to watch to the end. So make sure to go back and watch the Stars and Stripes Season 5 Daytona 200. It was a blast to cover this past Thursday. But yeah, these drivers getting ready to go.
Yeah, we're getting ready to go here, Sam. Getting ready to go back green. 102 laps completed. Getting ready here of 160. Only 4 yellows, actually 3 yellows of driver incidents and 1 for the stage break. As we got Vincent Sora, we heard what he said about gas. They should be okay now with fuel. Now it's all about what you learn about saving your tires and everything else that you got to do here, as I apologize for my dog barking. But we're getting ready to go back green here as Freaky Fast green flag is out, as Cedric Hunter is off the Hello Kitty car.
Hello Kitty is gone, and he says goodbye with that launch. And the question is, for how long will he be gone? As the rest of the drivers behind, Vincent Sora, very delayed start, as well as Brian Johnson. But now the question for Tom Sinchek, that of Brandon Colley. Colley, great charge for himself, one of our biggest movers so far at this point in the race. The one cracking the top 5. He's one of the drivers to watch out for. Brandon Colley was the second fastest driver during practice. The question is, can he transfer that speed over to this race stand? And he certainly has shown that he can slowly chip away each time that we've had a caution. He's moved up a position or 2, but battling for 3rd. Thompson check. That of Brian Johnson. Johnson cannot get involved in a wreck. If he can keep this 28 clean, he's going to get up front at some point.
Oh, most definitely. As we watch back here, Alex Light's going to get side-by-side with Carpool, and they're all going to go here side-by-side. Then they're going to single it out, and now we're going to have the number 70 of John Peel. He's going to try that roasted gem coffee, which I want some, John. But, man, that was a little hairy back there with these guys.
Oh, they are getting scrappy back here. A lot of blocking action going on. Christopher Norris, Alexander Light from Limitless, not afraid to utilize blocking or aggressive moves. And there they go. Into the wall. It's going to be Peel. Christopher Norris gets loose, and it's hard contact for the 70. And you see the sparks. Suspension is broken. He's got to take that 70 to pit road.
Yeah, unfortunately, and that thing's going to slide up into the wall, as now we're going to see him try to get it down. He's going to slow down, unfortunately. And that is all from what you just said there. We had Christopher Norris just get loose for some reason coming out of turn cold tires. Tires were not heated up yet, and he got loose.
Second time it's happened here tonight.
Yeah.
Major reasons. And the last time it was we saw one of the biggest wrecks right this go around. He just puts one driver up in the outside wall, and it's got to be frustrating to see that happen again. But again, on these, seeing the pit cycles, light gets into the wall that go around, and just seems like the drivers are either too loose or they're too tight out of the corner. And a little bit of reverse action we're seeing from each corner. And as these drivers are getting frisky, even up front, they're starting to get a little bit more aggressive. Vincent Sora inside of Cedric Hunter. They're going to be side by side for the lead. And Sora says, hello, goodbye, I'll take that position. And Cedric Hunter, you could start going backwards with using up those tires.
And then we got Brian Johnson all over Cedric Hunter here on the rear end of him. He's going to try to get around him as we're watching right here. Going the back end of Cedric Hunter here. And you can watch Brian Johnson get this run, probably coming through 3 and 4 here. He's going to pull right up against him, we assume here. We'll watch a little close here, Sam. Oh, as Cedric Hunter got a little loose there.
Trying to figure out the balance into these corners and that little bit of a change of seeing that straightaways. A little more flat into the heavy bankings of these corners. There's a little bit of a hill you climb, and it dives down like a roller coaster. And it's going to be seen that of Cedric Hunter not giving up to the inside of Vincent Sora for the lead.
He's loose again.
Pitching loose, and they're going to be going 3. Watch Brian Johnson. It's getting very risky, and he'll throw it to the inside, trying to get by the 13.
Wow, what a powerful move there. And he got it all because Cedric Hunter, you know, you definitely want to get your left tires down on that blue line there, Sam. That does help the car de-wedge it. It does help it turn. But if you get too much onto it, now you're looking at a problem, and that thing's just going to snap loose. And, you know, we heard earlier this week, I was talking to Zach about these cars, and he said they don't like any yaw in the car. And when they get a yaw, you're going to go around. So you seen Cedric Hunter, he was battling it there for a little bit.
Yeah, and yaw, meaning if the car is not pointing straight, it's a little bit pointing sideways at an angle coming out of these straightaways or out of the corner. And if you get a little bit too far on that edge, you're gone. You're going to be spinning around as our top 5 pull away. Might be questioning, where did Zach Hall go? He was up front part of this top 6. He's back to 9th place with Tyler Dangler, and these drivers have been working together. They've been just going backwards, going with a much slower pace. I think some of these drivers might be recognizing we might have to save it on fuel.
Yeah, they might still need to save on fuel, but these guys back here battling for 11th position on back, they said, screw the fuel, I'm going for a win for 14th position.
It is all about that coveted 11th place spot that James Kaufman is trying to hold off. He's going to have that of Christopher Norris, that of Carl Puller, trying to take that 11th place spot. And that's what we love about these drivers. They might be a little bit slower than our leaders. They might not be hunting for a championship, but the best of the rest, that's always on their minds. We want to say, hey, I might not have been the driver that finished in the top 10, top 5 each and every week, but I was right on that cut line.
That's right, right on the cut line, and they like the air time. They like the TV time. Why not?
Hey, give us the best racing action week after week. Hey, we'll come back here. We'll watch every once in a while, even though for the lead, Brian Johnson's taking it.
Brian Johnson takes the lead here, but we're still going to watch Michael Yarrow. This is kind of shocking that I'm seeing Michael Yarrow. We've seen him in previous races here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. I'm kind of shocked to see him back here running and, you know, battling in 12th, 13th, 14th position. Maybe he just doesn't have the handle on the car yet, you know. I don't know.
Well, I mean, looking at the history of Michael Yarrow, he's been running in that of the WSSR Cup Series for a while. He has been here for that season 3. But the big thing for this 98 is the competition has just grown. The amount of drivers that have come in, they've been a lot stronger. And also the drivers that were here back for season 3. I mean, like I said at the start of the broadcast, they went for a year and a half, you know, hiatus from the WSSR. They stepped away, weren't even sure if this league was ever going to come back. It did, and during that year and a half, a lot of drivers have grown and gotten faster. I mean, Zach Hall, a driver that never had gotten a pole before, got one, and Norris, Kaufman get a little bit frisky here, and they're in that battle for 11th. Always, they got to put on a show there.
Well, 11 has a 1 in it, right?
Got 2 1s.
Yeah.
And so it's double the award.
Yeah, that's right. Double the award. That's what they're going for there. But yeah, like you were saying there, you know, they went on hiatus for a year and a half. And they've learned all these admins. They grew this league after a year, brought it back. And I have to, again, I said it probably 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago. These drivers all did come back here and support these guys coming back, bringing back the league. So that goes to show you something of the system that they have here and the drivers and the dedication that they have. And it's just awesome to see them grow into season 4, coming out of season 4 into season 5, sponsorships, sponsored races, you know, it's a lot. So, you know, if you go back and watch this, anybody out there, and you're looking for a league on Saturday night, make sure you check out WSSR. You can find them on the iRacing League page. You can contact them on Facebook. They're always making posts, or even on their Instagram or Twitter page.
As these drivers continue to race on, it's going to be seeing Michael Yarrow, the driver that's going to conquer and hold off for 11th place.
Wow.
Now for that at 12th. Kaufman seems to be the placeholder of wherever he is. Behind him, there is a crowd ready to try to swarm and take his spot. Next driver in line going to be Carl Pooler, Alexander Light, Chuck Sweeting. Got to talk about Chuck Sweeting. He was involved with that last wreck, then spinning out on the restart, bringing out the yellow that has put these drivers into a closer realm. They're still very close on fuel. Everyone through this field is still within about a lap or two of being good or being too far out and actually not being able to make it. So with this hard racing we're watching, these drivers got to be careful on their fuel usage, and I think that's why we're starting to see some of these drivers, their pace, scary, slow, but at the same time, they want to be the first ahead, and Kaufman, very aggressive, threw that at the quad oval and does a great job holding on, but Chuck Sweeting is going to get aggressive here. Alexander Light trying to follow suit, but that 97 just doesn't seem as confident when they're side by side, but here we go into turn 3. Will it be a wreck or will they survive?
Well, we're going to find out here, because I'm going to tell Kaufman next season, season 5, he needs to put a whole bunch of bees on there and honey on the back, because it seems like everybody just wants to go around Kaufman. The poor guy can't get a break. He's side by side still with Alex Light.
Yeah, and Alex Light, he's just one of those drivers that's trying to get a lot more comfortable and confident on making passes later into a run. And the 97 is going to be able to do it over the 25. And Kaufman now only going to have 2 more drivers trying to get by him. It's going to be Christopher Norris, the driver we haven't really talked about that much here tonight. Gonna have to talk about James Hackworth Jr. back in 17th place, still in the lead lap. That's a good kudos for the 23. I think every race, that's the goal. Stay on the lead lap and keep it close with some of these drivers further back in the field.
Yeah, he's running good with that Cheerios machine, number 23, like you said there. You know, that's James Hackworth, everybody. He just does his thing. He don't say nothing. He just runs his race. He enjoys it. He has fun, and doesn't matter if he finishes in first, second, third, or last. He just enjoys it. He's just one of them drivers that is just a polite driver to be around. Not that anybody else is, but he's not as hyped as everybody else there, Sam. You know what I mean? So he's just laid back.
We always want to see, whenever, you know, we go to a super speedway race, that's when we're hoping and cheering for James Hackworth Jr. to go for a win, as everyone's got a shot at that moment. As up here, battle for 6 on back, another cluster of drivers, and that's going to be Brad Delph, who was involved with that incident, actually ran into that of Chuck Sweeting with his front bumper, still at full song, 14 in 7th place. He's doing a great job trying to hold off that of Jamison, as well as that of Bob Skinner, and Skinner doing a great job again, trying to go for that top 10 finish.
Oh, and you know, Charlotte's given us a nice race, as we're definitely down into the you know, late afternoon, early evening here. As you see, the sun is basically almost set here in sim time of Charlotte, but that high line and low line, they're both working. I'm very impressed the way this car is racing around this track here tonight, Sam.
The big thing, watching out for these drivers, for Bob Skinner at least for the E2, just keep with this pace. Don't try to overuse your tires. The 82 could be going for one of his best finishes of the season so far. His best finish overall was 13th, and he's finished 13th twice this season. Back at Phoenix and at Richmond, the short tracks is where the 82's been finishing the best. This could be one of his best finishes, though, for the mile and a half. His other best finish was 18th and 20th. Those were his worst finishes of the season.
And check out this here, as we got the little stats there about him. But check this out here. We got Vincent Sora. He's falling back after we had that little interview with him. He said he wanted to be aggressive, and he said dirty air is really, really bad. So how many drivers are, fighting with that dirty air there, Sam? And right now he is falling back. He was up there in the lead, and he's falling back here to 4th position. He's got Brandon Cauley all over him. Tom Simchek having one heck of a run here tonight, running in 3rd position, trying to figure something out to get around that Cedric Hunter there and maybe have something there for Brian Johnson. But from what I've seen all night, Brian Johnson is the car to beat.
Yeah, and I think the one thing I'm watching out for, Zach Hall, I touched on it earlier in this stint about 15 laps ago. He fell back to 9th place, was very much off the pace, but he was running similar lap times that our leaders are running now. I think Zach Hall might have been thinking about playing a little bit of a possum, saving his fuel, saving the tires for an extended run, and now feels like he's comfortable enough to run a little bit faster of a pace. Zach Hall right now running almost close. He's a little bit under half a second faster than our leader, and he's only that of 2 seconds back from 5th place. If he can close in a second, he'll start to get that draft from Cauley, which once he starts to close in on 5th place, that's when I think all this tire advantage that he has will run out, because just that dirty air is so strong that Zach Hall, all these tires that he's trying to, rubber that he's trying to save, will be thrown away immediately.
Well, exactly. And, we weren't talking too much about the dirty air, but apparently it's pretty powerful here tonight with these cars, with this setup and the track layout and the temperature and all that stuff. So he is running faster than the leader, like you said. But, the key is here that he's got clean air and Brian Johnson's got clean air. So that's kind of interesting that, Zach Hall is running faster than the leader.
It was running about almost half a second faster about 3 laps ago. Well, it's starting to plateau, and Zach Hall starting to run very similar lap times to our leaders, and that surge of energy, it depletes so quickly, especially with the way that this tire model works. And now Zach Hall back to just kind of being stable where he's at. And, for this 24, he's going to need a lot of effort. He's going to try to go for the win here today. But up front, going to be for the battle for second. Tom Simchek, Cedric Hunter, they're going to swap positions. Cauley thinking about trying to make a pass for 4th place. Sora not able to get out of the way. He'll continue to defend for 4th position, as Brian Johnson, I think he's in good cruise control. He's keeping himself a little bit of a buffer to the drivers behind. And I got to say, for Brian Johnson, he's in a great position to go for a win as we're closing in on 30 laps to go. But we're still in that zone of drivers going to be just around the window of being able to make it or not.
Well, as we see him right here, now Vincent Sora's going to look under Cedric Hunter here, coming out through 3 and 4 here. And you can just see it, and this is what Brian Johnson wants to see right now with 30 laps to go here, Sam. As long as these guys back here battle like they are right here for 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th position, that's only helping Brian Johnson pull out and also save tires, because he can match the lap times that these guys are doing, because side drafting, too, slows these cars down. These cars don't like side drafting.
Oh, dramatically is holding back these drivers when you're side drafting, and that's going to be the big thing. Like you were noting on, when these drivers get to each other's corner, you get your front nose to the rear quarter panel of the driver to your outside or to your inside, you are basically slowing that driver down by pulling the air out from their car, basically turning it into a parachute, which slows that driver down. But if you go side by side like we're seeing there, extremely close, you're hurting each other, and now losing ground is 2nd place runner of Tom Simchek. And Simchek, because he's been able to get away with the air, slowly trying to close in the gap for that leader.
That's what I was ready to say. You could see that they were just about 5-6 laps ago. Tom Simchek was battling, Cedric Hunter and Vincent Sora, all these guys back here. He got by them. Then they started battling side by side. Tom just pulled away from them guys, and now he's got the little sniffies of Brian Johnson's draft, and he's closing it down. He's only 3/10 right now, and his lap times are, he's matching his lap times. He's matching the leader right now.
Yeah, he really is starting to match quite well, and I think that's a big thing for Tom Simchek as he closes in, he matches, might be about a 10th or 2 faster, but the big thing for Tom Simchek, kind of the same issue that Zach Hall was dealing with. You might be faster for a lap or 2, but then you start to feel the issues of overusing your tires for those laps, and it will take a couple of laps to rebound from that issue. So you gotta pick and choose the right moments. And speaking of the right moment, Hello Kitty machine under fire. Here comes the Dutch Bros of Cauley, and Cauley's got to back off. Just gets too tight on the exit of the corner.
Yeah, his car did not like the low line there, did it? Going through 3 and 4. And look all the ground that he just lost here. And hopefully, now he's going to be side by side with Vincent Sora yet.
And with these two being side by side, it's now going to be pulling in. That is Zach Hall, who's now going to be within 2 seconds of our leader, and now within a half a second to the battling that we're seeing on screen. That 24 isn't done just yet.
But do these guys got any tires left, Sam?
I mean, in pit road, they still got 2 more sets to work with. They're still good on tires, so if we get a late caution, everyone's expecting to come into pit road. But tires to make it to the end should be all right.
Do you gamble if you can't make it on fuel? Do you make an early pit stop and try to have fresh? Whoa, that was close there. Oh, as Collie got down on the apron, he's getting loose, and good save there. That thing just kicked out on him going through 1 and 2, exiting 2 there, going down the backstretch. But would you gamble and, maybe try to, go in early there, Sam, and take your tires and, if you can't make it on fuel?
I mean, if you were going to make that call, I think 6 laps, 7 laps ago would have been your best opportunity to do so, as Collie's starting to feel the wear and tear after trying to make the pass on Vince. He made the pass on Vincent Sora, then had to make the pass on Cedric Hunter, and those 2 passes just alone are already hurting this one. Got to think for Zach Hall, he's going to make himself 4 passes to even have a chance to go after Brian Johnson, so it's going to be tough on that. But I think if it was back at lap 130, if you felt like I hadn't saved enough fuel, then you'd come into pit road. I think for all these drivers, they're inside of that window of, for Zach Hall, he tried to save fuel immediately, now is on the go, while everyone else, they were on, let's build a big enough lead and then save fuel. So a little bit of opposite strategies on track, but I think the goal still stay out on track as long as possible unless you run out of fuel.
Right. That sounds like a plan. I mean, I guess that's where, I don't know. I always think outside the box and try to do something different, if I don't have the speed and I know I can't make it on fuel, I would just do the gamble. But that's me, Sam, and maybe that's why I never won races, because I do stupid stuff like that.
Well, I mean, it's gutsy moves that you have to make if you want to go for wins sometimes. If you can't beat them out on raw pace, you got to think out of the box. And, those are always the calls that you wait for races like this, where there's a magical, moments where it turns into fuel races, where you hope that your odd strategies might work out.
Yeah, very true. So we're watching Bob Skinner back here right now. He's running in the top 10. He's having a great run here at Charlotte. The car's very clean, and he's doing what he needs to do. He's looking really good out there in that trading paint. I like that paint scheme. That's a pretty nice looking paint scheme.
I mean, it's one of the more unique ones. I think blue and black starting to come a lot more into prevalence.
I like blue and black.
Team colors.
Yeah.
I know red and black and white, that was like the color for years. Blue and black starting to come back into the swing of things.
That's Freaky Fast color.
Sora's using it. It's Freaky Fast colors. Paul's using it. I love to see drivers go into the blue and black.
Don't ask me why I picked blue for Freaky Fast. It just happened. And you want to know something, and the fans out there watching, you can give a big shout out to Bob Skinner here. And I don't know if you know this, Sam, going into the past here a little bit and maybe a little off subject, but Bob Skinner is the one that named Freaky Fast. He's the one that came up with the broadcasting name.
Ooh,
yeah.
That is a little bit of a nugget there.
Yeah, no one knew that. Bob Skinner did it. Bob Skinner helped my wife come up with Racing Freaks, and then when we shut that down and started the broadcast system and started broadcasting the league-wise stuff, Bob Skinner said, just call yourself Freaky Fast, and that's where it took off.
And honestly, it's one of the better names out there for a broadcasting team.
Wow.
Keeps us. I mean, we love watching races that are freaky fast.
Oh, we're
and
freaky.
Sometimes we got to get ourselves freaky fast with our mouths as well. We got to be screaming as loud and as fast as possible.
Right. Make iRacing top 10 every now and then.
That's all the drivers to give us that content for us.
Well,
to
that's
scream
true,
as
but
loud as we need.
but that's still, hey, we made that. I mean, that's something I never thought would happen. To be honest with you.
Now we made the October top 10 list, number 6, and then also you got to think of Daytona in February. We also made the Daytona best.
Yep.
And that was all the crazy moments of us this year, and Gotta say, the end of 2021 was spectacular. 2022 has been a blast as well here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting, as well as the racing here for these drivers. 2022 brought back WSSR iRacing iFlag Cup Series action, and the action starting to ramp up. That battle for 7th, 8th, and 9th, all on top of one another.
And give a shout out to Tyler Dingler there right now. Yeah, he is still running up here, like you said, here in 9th position. And I do believe, I don't have the stats in front of me, but would this be the best run for him too here in the Cup car?
There's a couple of drivers trying to go for some of their best finishes, and for Tyler Dangler, 7th place was his best finish this season. That was back at Las Vegas.
Okay.
Right now, he's trying to tie that up.
Oh, well, he's looking really strong right now, and you can see the tire. Oh, as Brad gets a little loose there coming out of turn number 2 there. And these tires are starting, you know, what we're looking at here. About 15 laps to go here. These tires are starting to feel the pains, Sam.
They are. We're now 50 laps into this run on these tires. Now, they're full green flag stints, about 45 laps of green flag racing. We did have a quick yellow that came out, didn't allow these drivers to really take off immediately. So only about 45 laps of green flag racing, but this was around the time that we had our longest run, and then we had a yellow pop up. So drivers are going to be keeping their eyes out, recognizing, okay, this is around the time for tire wear, that drivers are starting to get loose again, starting to have some big wrecks. Let's try to make sure we keep ourselves and out of trouble. But for the battle for the lead, it's on. It is all about our leaders, and for Brian Johnson, he's getting that pressure from Tom Sinchek, and as well, back in 3rd place, Zach Hall almost within a second of our front 2.
Yeah, I just brought up the lap data here, and you can see Sinchek's been a lap 42 to 146. Has been faster, except for one lap he tied there on the lap time of 144. We'll see what he is here, because he's down to a 10th, man. He is, and he's a tick faster than he is. But like you said, here Zach comes too, and these guys save tires. And I'm kind of shocked here, but like you said, this is the longest run that we had.
Longest run of the night, but at the same time, it can be thrown away in an instant. We've seen other yellows come out here tonight, 3 in total of on-track incidences. An update for drivers further on back. We've got 4 official DNFs. That's going to be John Peel, who just got done with trying to get repairs done. Just said it's too much. I'm not going to be able to finish this one out. As well as Trevor Earhart, James Viney, and that of Bryce Kobler are going to be those 4 drivers with DNFs. We've got a total of 17 drivers on the lead lap, with that of Art Greco going to be 1 lap down in 18th position. But for our leaders, they're closing in on lap traffic, as well as this battling is on.
Yeah, definitely Tom Sinchek's on them, and I'm going to re-quote myself there. I guess there's black, blue, and gray on Bob Skinner's car from Tina, says out there on YouTube, Sam. So don't look gray to me, but I'm blind, so.
You know, sometimes we've got to really zoom in on these cars.
That's true, too.
Their color schemes.
That's very true, very true. But right now, ladies and gentlemen, we've got 10 laps to go here, and Tom is faster than, you know, Johnson here. Now the question is can he get around him, though? I mean, catching somebody, yeah, that's the easy part. Passing somebody, well, that's a whole nother subject.
That has been the biggest issue all night long, is the fact that you can catch up to drivers, but making them pass this late into a run on these tires that are now 50 lap old of green flag racing action. 55 since the last time they came to pit road. They are old, they're worn, and now you got to be trusting that you got enough grip and enough speed to try to get by the driver ahead of you. Coming up to 9 laps to go. Brian Johnson, Tom Sinchek, the heavy hitters to watch out for. But another thing to watch out, Zach Hall is slowly chipping away. It might be too far now. He lost a little bit of speed on that last lap of the 24. If any of these leaders start to get a little bit too racy, 24 is waiting in the wings.
Waiting in the wings. Oh, as Tom got a little loose coming out of there, and here comes Hall. We'll see anybody else has got something for Johnson. But, hey, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget, coming up here right after the race, stay tuned for the post-race interviews of your top 3. And also tonight, going to talk to Vincent Sora again about winning his championship and Rookie of the Year here at Season 5 with WSSR, brought to you by iRacingiFlag. Make sure you go check them out at iRacingiFlag.com and use our promo code. So it's awesome what the system that he has here. But like I said, post-race coming up here in 8 laps.
8 laps, going up to 7 as it coming at turn number 4, and it's going to be Brian Johnson, the most winningest driver in WSSR history, trying to add another one to his list. And the driver in second, Tom Sinchek, spent over about, I would say, 3/4 of this season with the most miserable luck. Could not finish a race, and now with an opportunity to completely change the record books and say, hey, I might not have been able to finish a race for those first 6 races, but when it comes to the end of the season, I've got an opportunity to win. But now the chances of something changing are high. Lap traffic, one of the biggest factors to watch out for.
Great to say there, as you were talking, Sam, with the scene, you guys getting around James Hackworth there. They are dealing with some lap traffic. They got the 72 car right in front of them, and then just ahead of him is going to be, who's just in front of him?
That's
is that Alex?
Christopher Norris.
Christopher Norris, which we've seen get loose and have a couple, little incidents. So, yeah, I don't know.
He's had a couple. I think Christopher Norris might be the last driver if you're these leaders you want to be by, especially late in this race with the way that his tires have just fallen off late in runs and how loose and overcorrecting issues he's been having. They get by that of Art Greco in the 72.
Ooh.
It's now down to getting by Christopher Norris with 5 laps to go. They're going to get up to him. The question is, where will Norris be going to get out of the way? He's over the radio trying to figure out where to place himself.
Go high.
But for Tom Sinchek, he's going to still be poking his nose, trying to figure out where to place that 8 as well. Do you use the 54, the 54 as your pick, or do you wait as we're coming up to 4 laps to go? It's on. Lap traffic. Leaders, where do you go? High, low. They place themselves in the right direction. It's Tom Sinchek losing slightly there in the entry of turn 1.
Yeah, he lost it a little bit there, and I don't know if he just backed out because he wasn't sure if Christopher is going to go high, which he did the right thing. You go high, you let the cars go low, and, that was a great pass, but maybe, oh, no, it looks like Tom's a little faster going through 3 and 4 here, Sam. That's where he's gaining his time, not 1 and 2, 3 and 4.
Yeah, and he's really been trying to get that exit out of the corner, but I got to say that a little bit of a draft helping the 8, but a little bit too fast. He's got to pop up in the center of the corner, which is going to lose him a little bit of speed here on the exit. Just giving up slight bit of time here or there. Tom Sinchek and Zach Hall both did it that lap. Watch out here through the corner. 2 laps to go. Tom Sinchek needs to get a little bit more aggressive for Zach Hall to have an opportunity to close in this gap. Or it's just a duel. Who's going to get it done? The driver that doesn't have a win this season, or the driver that's trying to get himself into victory lane for the most and to grow that gap? 2 laps to go, and it's on.
2 laps to go. They go down the backstretch. You got Tom looking on the inside. He's going to get a little loose. Brian Johnson's going to try to break that draft going down the backstretch as they head into turn 3 and 4, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go, Sam. 1 lap to go.
It's all that of Brian Johnson into 28. He's got to hold off the 8 machine as we're coming up to our European Wax Center white flag. It's in the air. It's going to be Brian Johnson with that of 0.2 seconds over Tom Sinchek. Sinchek has to get underneath the 28 or get a massive run on the outside out of turn number 4. Those of turns 1 and 2 are done. It's all about the 1 and final chance, but he's losing ground. Brian Johnson grows the lead into turn 3 as they're going through turns 4. Brian Johnson, he loves the low line. He defended it. He protected it and get himself his 2nd win of the season. Brian Johnson, but the driver that's the most excited, back in 6th position, across the line, the champion of season 4, Vincent Sora, gets it done. The consistency for the 15, all he needed to do tonight was get bonus points. He got it at the stage break, and the 15 became our champion back at lap 40. But celebrations now can begin for the 28 and the 15.
And not only that, the 28 and the 15 are teammates, like we said. So now we're going to see dual victory burnouts, which is going to be awesome. Let's see what kind of show they put on. But Congratulations to Brian Johnson. Congratulations to Vincent. Congratulations to all drivers as they give a little love tap here in the front stretch, and they're going to get ready to burn it down, smoke it up, and man, oh man, who do we go with? Do we watch the 15 spin it around?
We watched 15. We watched the champ.
Yeah, we'll watch 2 of them. We'll just jump back and forth here, ladies and gentlemen, and just watch them go back and forth. Look at this. Yay, congratulations to them.
Congratulations again to Brian Johnson on the win. And like Robert said, we got more content still to come. The race is over, but doesn't mean the show is here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. The post-race show going to be starting in just a few moments. So we're going to step aside. When we come back, not just 3 interviews, we've got 4. Our top 3, and as well, our champion of Season 4, Vincent Sora. We'll be back in just a few. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Freaky Fast Broadcasting post-race show and the championship style here tonight. Instead of just 3 drivers, we're going to have 4, our top 3, and then our championship driver to finish things off. We're going to start things off with 3rd place finisher, Zach Hall, who it's got to be a frustrating night, but knew it was going to be an overall fight to the end. Zach, it's Sam up in the booth. Let's start things off with how was tonight for yourself?
Well, man, that was a pretty good run. I knew the championship coming tonight was out of contention. I mean, with 22 guys, especially too, it would took a miracle, as they would say. But yeah, just a really good night overall. I'm actually really happy because taking the night, I think that my long run pace again after Phoenix last week showed again that that's something I can look forward to for next season. That's kind of the idea I came into tonight. I knew I had a pretty good big gap on 3rd points, so I wanted to hold on to that. But I knew that this would be a night to build on momentum and, just continuing the consistent runs and finishes this season, I guess.
Well, the interesting thing you brought out consistency. You even brought it up during our past interviews on the fact that you've actually had the best average finish over that of Vincent Sora, and that continues on here tonight, extending that best average of a third place finish. But how much can you take from this season and try to move over to the next season? I know second place has been kind of the omen of this season. It's having yourselves top two finishes and finishing second in points. How are you going to be able to take what you've taken from this season into the next?
Well, it is somewhat a little bit demoralizing not to get that win. I think I definitely missed out on one at least a few times this season. But that I got to look at the silver lining of things in the background, and the average finish like that is going to what propel you to a chance to fight for a championship next season with the playoffs. So, if I can keep that same mentality week in and week out, I think my worst finish this season might have been a sixth. So if I can, keep that same style of racing, I think throughout the whole entire schedule next season coming up, I think I'll have a real good shot going into that final race at Chicagoland. And, in those races, it's anybody's game. There's no points involved like it was here tonight. It's just go out there and win. So a little bit of a different mentality. But, yeah, definitely, I think a big momentum boost for me. And I think I've got this build figured out a little bit with the tires. So I'm excited for the future, definitely.
I would say you certainly have been finding it. Well, Zach, before we let you go, the floor is yours for any shout-outs.
Well, first off, thank you guys up in the booth for an awesome season. It's crazy to say this is 8 weeks already finished and done and through. And, man, I can't wait to get back started for our next 16-week season, our bigger one here coming up. So July 16th, make sure everybody y'all tune into that because it's going to be very, very special to be back here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting as always. So thank you guys up in the booth, Sam and Robert. You guys are amazing at what y'all do. Love watching it back and love working with you guys too. So thank you for that. Also got a shout out to our sponsors, iRacingiFlag here for being our title sponsor here in season 4. It's been a pleasure to have them on board with us, man. And couldn't say a better thing about them because, man, they are just a great group of people over there. And Jeff is a great guy. So thank you to Jeff Brown over there at iRacingiFlag for coming on board with us. Also, European Wax Center and ButtKicker. They were great and all our race sponsors throughout the season. And then last but not least, all the drivers who show up week in and week out, man. The racing out there has been fantastic this season, and I can't wait. We already got some new guys signed up for coming in the next season, and some pretty heavy hitters too. So I'm excited for that, and maybe we can get that lineup a little bit shook up next season going into it. But it's going to be a fun one. I can't wait for next season, though, guys.
And we're just excited for next season. Can't wait. Cannot believe that season 4 is done, but season 5 we know is right around the corner. Congratulations again, Zach, on a great finish here tonight. Congratulations on a great point season as well for yourself, and good luck going into season 5.
Yeah, one last thing. Congrats to Vinny, but you guys have a great night.
That's going to be Zach Hall in the 24. Comes away with third place finish here tonight. Second in points, but certainly he's going to be a heavy contender to watch out next season as we move down to second place finisher, that of Tom Sinchekin. What a reversal it's been these last couple of weeks. Start of the season, it was a struggle just to finish, and coming away with a second place finish here tonight. Tom, gotta say, it's got to be feeling good that you were this close from getting a win.
Yeah, it was good. I wanted it. I felt like I could have had him. The dirty air is nuts. Even if I got up behind him or like on the side to side draft him, I don't think I was gonna be able to pass him. It's Brian Johnson after all. So yeah, it felt good to get up there. It felt good to actually have some speed because my practice race was miserable. But I found out what I had to do, and we executed it pretty well, just not well enough.
I know the start of the season was rough for yourself, just trying to figure out how to finish your race, and then you come to the end of the second half of the season where things started to change up. How much confidence does this give to you, knowing that, all right, we're starting to see that luck change, and season 5 is right around the corner?
Yeah, 2 weeks away. Season 5's right there. I learned a lot about these new cars. I think they were just so super fresh in the beginning of the season, where I thought I was fast, but I thought I pushed a little too hard. But yeah, I'm getting a handle of them, and not very good at short tracks still, but I got these mile and a halfers down just a little bit better than I thought.
That certainly is true. And Tom, best finish this season was tonight, so finishing on the best note. And before we let you go, the floor is yours for any shout-outs.
Oh yeah, shout out to everybody for racing clean tonight. I think I touched Vincent coming out of 2 once with a 0x. We didn't get loose or anything like that, but I apologize for that. I apologize for everybody that pinched tonight, but they probably would have done the same thing to me. Everybody knows how track position is in dirty air on this track. So shout out to all those guys for not putting me in the wall for pinching them. And shout out to you guys for the run. It's been a great season. And I'll see you guys in 2 weeks.
Can't wait for it. That's going to be second place finisher here tonight, Tom Sinchek in the Gate Machine. Congratulations on that, and good luck going into season number 5.
Thank you, Fred.
As we head from second place to victory lane, where we find the man who continues to find his ways into winning direction. It's going to be that of Brian Johnson coming away with another victory, second of the season. And Brian, got to say, this new tire model, it's fitting right in your wheelhouse.
Yeah, sure is. Yeah, I did the practice race earlier this week and really liked what I saw, tire wear wise, and had really good pace. And I knew that tonight was going to be pretty good based off of that. And then did a couple qualifying runs in the practice tonight. And when usually when I have good short run speed and good long run speed, the race goes pretty well. But Tom definitely made me work for it. He had me stressing out the last 20 laps. Just having to really push it as hard as I could, and really just not making a mistake in the last 20 laps. And it's a good thing we didn't have to go on pit road the last 20 laps, because I don't know if somebody spilled a 5-gallon bucket of Vaseline in my box or what, but slid through it every single pit stop tonight. And those mistakes will cost you a win, but luckily we were able to get it back up there, and just keep everybody behind us once we got the lead. Because unfortunately, I don't know why Charlotte is so much different than Homestead, but Dirty Air and the draft were pretty powerful tonight. So it was kind of, I kind of drove this similar to how we drove the Gen 6 cars. Just be aggressive, try to get to the front, get the clean air, and then rest is history pretty much.
Yeah, that was really what we were seeing also from the booth. It just seems so hard to make any type of passes, especially late in runs. But Brian, I gotta say, this is especially with this new tire model, the way that we've been seeing you perform these last couple of weeks. How much are you feeling like you're getting back to form to try to go for a championship for season 5?
Very much so, actually. That update with the arrow and the tires on this car that iRacing put out a few weeks ago, that was exactly what I needed, because before that these cars were kind of my Achilles heel almost. The first half of the season did not go very well at all. um you know I- if we had the update starting at the beginning of the season and had this tire model, would I have been closer to winning in points? Maybe. Because even though I've got this one, or getting it figured out, and Vinny kind of is kind of struggled with the update a little bit, even though he did win Phoenix. But he's still still really really good, and can be hard to beat. Tonight was just a rare off night for him. But yeah, next season is a longer season, gonna have some playoffs in there. And as far as mile and a half's concerned, I'm feeling pretty strong on those.
You've certainly proven it now with winning that Homestead and tonight at Charlotte. Brian, congratulations on the win again, extending your winning gap over the rest of the WSSR history books. Congratulations. And before we let you go, the floor is yours for any shoutouts.
Yeah, just got to give a shout out to Vincent Sora, our season 4 champion. Like I said, he was tough to beat all season long. Winning half the races. It's pretty impressive, even though it's a short season. And really glad he's my teammate in this league. And just kind of on the iRacing general side of things at Cat 5. He's a pleasure to race with, and he's really pushing me to be better, which is not something, when we first brought him on, not something that I would have thought. But he's doing great. And shout out to you guys for putting on a great broadcast as always, and everybody that tuned in, all the league drivers here. Hopefully we'll see every single one of these guys here next season, and get some more along the way, and have a gigantic field. And then all the admins, I think our revival season went very very well. And season 5 is looking is pretty exciting. I think it's going to be pretty good. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
That is going to be the 28 of Brian Johnson coming away with the win here tonight for the Freaky Fast 240. Congratulations on the win, and good luck going into Season 5.
Thank you, sir.
As we move from victory lane, we go in and find our champion for that of the World Series of Sim Racing, for that of the iRacing iFlag Cup Series. They went on a hiatus. It was a year and a half, 525 days until we came back from Season 3 to Season 4. This driver was hot and streaky from the beginning. He got 3 in a row. Then last week, got the gap even bigger with a win at Phoenix, winning half of the races this season. Your champion of the Season 4 WSSR iRacing iFlag Cup Series, Vincent Sora in the 15. Vinny, congratulations. How are you feeling with knowing that you are officially the champion?
I'm feeling great. It was a really good season. I enjoyed every race. It was a lot of fun. Everyone raced really hard and clean, and we all do a great job. This league was great. It's awesome that we got it started back up. Just so happy to say that I'm a champion in here and get that ring. It's pretty cool.
I mean, Vinny, you started off so hot. Coming in, I know we say and give you the title as the rookie because you're a part of the rookie class for Season 4, but you've raced with some of these guys in the last year since these drivers were on hiatus. How much confidence did you have coming into the season, and did you think that you did have the speed to try to hunt for a championship?
Yeah, I mean, I thought I was going to be pretty good. We did a lot of recruit races and just kind of testing whenever the next gen got pushed on us this year, and we all weren't really too good at the beginning, but we were equally not very good. So it was kind of just whoever learns the quickest, and I guess I figured it out pretty good. Those first 3 races, there were a lot of my good tracks, so that certainly helped, and I just figured out a lot of tricks to help the right front and whatnot, and just, yeah, learned a lot and had a lot of fun.
Well, Vinny, you are now going to be the Season 4 champion. Got to carry that trophy and title into the next season that's just a couple of weeks away. How are you feeling with trying to carry that mantle, and how confident are you feeling going into Season 5?
Uh, I'm feeling decently confident. I'm going to be honest. This new update's kind of thrown me off a little bit. It drives a lot different. You have to race the car a little different than it was before, and I'm not quite suited to it yet. But I'm gonna do a little bit of practicing, and hopefully I'm gonna learn a little bit going to next season, and I can go 2 for 2.
Well, we cannot wait to see if you can get that done. Vinny, before we let you go, the floor is yours for any shout outs.
Yeah, I just want to thank every single driver that's showing up every week. They make this possible. So thanks to everybody that shows up. I want to thank all of our sponsors. They're awesome, and they're the reason we get to do this. I want to thank Freaky Fast Broadcasting. You guys do a great job. Can't wait to go back and watch the broadcast later. I want to thank my personal sponsor, McConey Setup Shop. I want to thank the guy who painted the cars for me every week, Tom Sinchek. I want to thank my teammates on Sidewinder Motorsports, Nick Crawford and Brian Johnson. Unfortunately, Nick couldn't join us these last couple weeks, but shout out to Brian. He got the other 2 wins for the team, so really cool. Glad to see him in victory lane.
Well, that is going to be the number 15 machine of Vincent Sora. End of the year stats for the champ. He's going to come away with 4 wins in total. And Vinny, with those 4 wins, you are officially up to 4th on the most winningest driver in this series just on your rookie year. Obviously, there's going to be a bunch of other drivers expecting them to try to come back and see if they can knock you off of your pedestal, because you are the driver to hunt from now on. Congratulations on your win. On winning the championship, as well as winning the Rookie of the Year award. You're just taking all the medal and all the prizes, and good luck going into next season.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
That right there is going to be the number 15 of Vincent Sora, your WSSR iRacing iFlag Cup Series Season 4 champion and ButtKicker Rookie of the Year winner, Vincent Sora. Congratulations and good luck next season there, bud.
Thank you, guys. Have a good one.
So again, the extended post-race show, got to interview our top 3, got to check out how our champion is feeling. But this season, it came and went so fast. Only 8 races in total, and it was Vincent Sora who was the most consistent of them all. There were big updates that came in the middle of the season, but those 3 wins to start the season off were so massive to help Vincent Sora get the championship. As we take a look at where the drivers finished out here tonight. The last race of the season for Season 4. It's going to be that of Brian Johnson coming away with the victory here at Charlotte, with Tom Sinchek, his best finish of his season, going to be in second place. Zach Hall in third. Cedric Hunter going to take fourth place with that of Brandon Colley in fifth. Vincent Sora, our champion, comes away in sixth position with that of Rich Jamison in seventh. Brad Delp going to be in eighth. Tyler Dingler in ninth. And with this first top 10 of the season, Bob Skinner, 10th place for the 82. Congratulations on that. Rest of the field, a lot of upset drivers, hurt feelings, mistakes were thrown out, but overall, all of it's been settled. And a big thanks again to European Wax Center for being our white flag qualifying results and also end of the race results sponsor. Robert, what a season it was, and it's Vincent Sora getting the championship and Brian Johnson with a win here tonight.
Oh, man. What a season. Can't believe it, Sam. 8 weeks, come and gone. It's amazing when you do commentating and broadcasting and you don't even look back and you don't realize that, 8 weeks is up already. It just feels like it's halfway through the season. I mean, it feels like these guys should have a little bit more, racing to go. But, they do. Season 5's coming up, like you said. July 16th, kick it off. New drivers, old drivers, rivalries, you name it. It's all going to be here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting. But again, like you said, congratulations to Brian Johnson. Congratulations to Vincent Sora for getting the victory. Thank you all the fans out there that make this possible week in and week out, and the leagues that help us out here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting. So, to you, Sam, it's been a great season. It's been great calling it, and I can't wait to Season 5 where we get to redo it all over again.
Oh, man, it's been a pleasure to watch these drivers, and it's been a pleasure to work with you for the majority of the season, Robert. Cannot wait for Season 5. Like you said, July 16th is when Season 5 begins. But for us up here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting, the racing does not end. Tomorrow night, going to be that of the 802 Next Gen Cup Series, as they're going to have round number 4 heading off to Michigan. And then on Monday, another series comes to a conclusion. It's the NAISCC Race Car Graveyard Truck Series, as they're going to have their championship race at Homestead. Plenty of great racing action here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting. But for Saturdays, we're going to have a couple of weeks off, like we said, back July, that of 16th. Cannot wait for it. Season 5. From Season 4, let's double the races, double the cars. We'll see how many drivers survive at the end of the day and get the championship done. Will Brian Johnson come back with the heat? Will Vincent Sora go back-to-back? You'll have to find out in just a couple of weeks. But for tonight, for this season, congratulations to that of Brian Johnson on another win. But overall, congratulations to Vincent Sora in the 15, your Rookie of the Year, ButtKicker Rookie of the Year winner, as well as Season 4 champion for WSSR iRacingiFlag Cup Series, Vincent Sora. Congratulations on the championship. For myself, Sam Dyer, for Robert Moyer running productions and commentating tonight, thank you for joining us here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. Can't wait to see you in 2 weeks. If not, we'll see you tomorrow. Have a good one, everybody.